We're going.
We're rolling now?
We're rolling.
We're rolling. Back at the Imperial, some guy and John, with some special guests, Dr. Rachel Levinson and Stephen Armstrong.
Or are we running?
I think we're running.
I think we're running, yeah.
I hope we haven't been rolling.
Yeah.
I think we're running. We're running? We're not walking. We're moving through this.
Yeah,
Are we
that was a bad pun.
Blade running?
Oh!
2049, baby! Try to stay awake!
I didn't.
2 hours and 45 minutes. You fell asleep twice. And it's not because it was a bad movie.
No.
Not at all.
Although it was way too long.
It's like
Yeah.
It was way too long in the wrong places.
And
Yeah.
there was still once again, no explanation as to why the job is called Blade Runner.
Yeah.
It's like
Once again,
basically-
they skip over that.
Basically, my thought is hire the cinematographer, fire that editor.
Yeah,
But don't
that's
forget
the director too.
Yeah, but don't forget, we talked about this on the drive home here, Rachel. Don't forget the studio that put this out was the WB. Known for some awful editing hatchet jobs that we've gone into detail on, a la Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman.
Oh god.
Total hatchet jobs. Like, I don't know if they were going to be great movies, but the editing definitely didn't help.
No.
And the whole idea was to chop them down to size.
We have the other side of the spectrum here.
I am glad they committed to the artistic vision and went with it, but anyways,
I think it could have been a matter of like Blade Runner. It's almost infamous for the studio taking over and getting stuff cut. So it's like they wanted to revise. Like, okay, this time we are going to let the director do whatever he wants
Because the director wasn't Ridley Scott.
And so it's like
I don't think he even wrote it. He just produced
Yeah, he
it.
produced.
I feel that basically any author to make something good needs someone to tell them no. I think they got really talented people on it, but I think it needed a bit of tough love.
Well, I mean, I do see the similarities between this and Arrival, for instance, same director.
Yeah.
And Arrival has these long, drawn-out spots and shots, and they have those big booming horn noises in the background all the time.
I didn't get bored with Arrival. At least
No, me neither.
It's not too.
But Arrival actually went a
3
little.
hours long.
Yeah,
and kept a good pace.
Well, Arrival went a little quicker, but that's only because I think it was a shorter movie.
Yeah.
This, I think, had the same pace. I think you were about to say.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about what Rachel didn't like about the original, because she just saw the original Blade Runner. I showed her the final cut.
The final cut. Okay.
The final cut, yeah.
One of
and
5 or 6 cuts. Yeah.
7 total is what we found out.
Okay.
7 total, if you count the international one.
And it's not the fan cuts either. Yeah.
No, it's not. And I believe you actually commented on the pacing of the original.
It was awful.
It was. It's not great
It was
pacing.
film noir, but
It was.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it wasn't in 1992.
Yeah.
Because then the director's cut kind of stripped out the noir factor of it. All that second-guessing narration that they did. Hello, we have fans stopping by.
Hello.
In 92, they ripped out the narration.
My favorite part.
Like gutting it of the noir thing. Yeah, but now you have all these scenes where you just have Harrison Ford looking at things, looking out a window, looking at his food while he's eating, just staring.
That's what the honest trailer said.
Right.
The movie where Harrison Ford sits around while his car drives in places and he looks out a window.
Yeah.
Right,
Or he's looking at his drink, or he's getting drunk and nobody's saying a damn thing.
Because there's no more narration.
Yeah.
So
we
we're-
watched The Honest trailer last night, too. It was pretty good.
Yeah, but I looked up on the trivia thing, and Harrison Ford said, you know what, the people, that was all the studio.
That was
at
the
end,
studio, yeah.
Saying
Yeah.
we want to add in the narration, we want to
Because
kind
the
of
audience, the
speed
test
it up.
audiences didn't understand what was
Right.
happening.
So we want to add in this narration, we're going to make it like film noir-y kind of thing, which is kind of like that anyway, so let's make it like film noir, we'll do narration. Look at Sunset Boulevard or something.
Yeah.
And then Harrison was on record not terribly long ago, but I read it on the IMDb trivia, so if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Yeah.
Or he's quoted as saying, the studio added that in, and the writers of all that narration that I had to read are clowns.
Didn't care, yeah.
He hated it. He
Because
thought
it turned into a play-by-play.
Yeah, he's like, I hated it. I
Yeah.
thought it was a bad idea. It was awful. But he also hated the idea that his character might actually be a replicant. He didn't want it to be. He didn't.
Let's
want
do the
that-
plot synopsis, the quick plot synopsis. Because I've seen it 3 times now.
All right.
So I did enjoy it.
Like, I think like there is like, I guess what you might call it twist, or because like
Wait.
at the beginning.
No, stop.
We're not into spoilers.
Yeah, not into spoilers.
We're not into
I mean,
spoilers.
like
Wait,
it's
stop.
almost impossible to tell the story.
No,
No, it is.
There's a formula to this podcast.
Yes. It is, and I'll do it.
do you? No, you do the synopsis.
Talk about the plot without spoiling it.
We can do that. We
No, we can
normally
do that.
we normally run to IMDb.
We can do that.
But I'm gonna check since
Yeah.
I tend to do that.
Yeah.
Guy, you want to take us through the synopsis, the
Yeah,
spoiler
I'll
free?
take the spoiler-free synopsis.
What would you write on IMDb that would be spoiler free?
Oh, it's basically
on a
the...
challenge to Stevens. How can you say this without spoiling?
Yeah,
it?
it's easy because you just don't say things.
Okay, go
It's that
do-
simple.
So just say it.
Do it, sir.
So basically,
Say it, sir.
the newest Blade Runner goes on an assignment, which leads to him uncovering
Dark secret.
uncovering a secret about the replicants that nobody knew was even possible, and following that thread as far as it goes to see what's actually going on at the behest of his boss.
Right? Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Right? Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you.
guy.
Thank you.
Pounding on the table for you. Yeah, it's essentially it. Ryan Gosling, 30 years later, is our lead, and he was in. Yeah, I mean, he's in the bulk of the movie. I mean,
It's his movie.
It's his movie.
Yeah.
Harrison's just in
Harrison
it.
Ford just shows up
Yeah.
2/3 of the way through.
He's just
Yeah.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is Gosling's movie.
And he does a good job. I noticed over the 3 times that I watched it, there's a lot to unpack with him.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot under the surface, and a lot to unpack, and a lot of okay, that's kind of cool. We're asking the same questions as the first movie all over again, but in a completely different way. We're not just retreading.
I like him. When Gosling gets these roles, he tries.
Yeah.
And I can see it.
He is very good at playing sort of the stoic character with a lot going on under it. Like
Yes.
his performance in Drive might be
Yeah.
one of my favorite performances.
Yeah.
So I'll have to say I've never seen a Ryan Gosling movie till now.
You have now.
Yeah, till now. So I don't know.
I always think he's been underrated. I like him. There's only a handful of movies where I see him and I'm like, well, this was a mistake. Not many. Usually he's pretty good.
Yeah.
And in some cases, I think he did a great job in this one. I don't think he's getting an Oscar out of this.
No, but I think he did a
But-
really
There's
good
talk
job.
of both of them. I don't know why.
I don't see that happening.
But on a sadly completely trivial note that really kind of pisses me off,
What's that?
Jared Leto's character was supposed to be played by David Bowie.
I know.
I know, we found
And
out.
how fucking awesome would
because
that
he-
have been?
and he passed away.
That would have been. That would have been
Yeah.
so fucking hot.
Yeah, I would
Agreed.
have preferred that.
That would have been so.
But
hot.
I didn't have a lot of problems with
No.
Jared Leto playing
No,
this
I didn't
character.
either.
You know, to him to sub in.
He kind of.
You know, I hate to say it, it's like the Joker.
He stuck out. He stuck out a little, but his eccentricity was purposeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that it kind of lent to from the opening text crawl,
Yeah.
which I was kind of expecting to be narrated, just because of the original. I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. And we got there right when it came up, so we got there perfect.
Yeah, you guys walked in
Yeah.
right on time. And we're following Ryan, or Gosling, who's not really named. He's got a number.
K dash
K
something or
K
other.
Pax 4605.
He just has a
867
number
530.
as his job at the
Yeah,
police
the
department.
the thing about me and with the plot of this movie is that it's like I could understand like step 1, 2, 3, 4.
Sure.
But I couldn't. A lot of times I couldn't quite understand how we got from 1 to 2.
I'll give you that.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, there
It's
are
like-
some.
yeah,
There are
it's like-
some.
All the reveals are just like, okay, I get the reveal, but wait, can you
Yeah.
get your oh wow.
Yeah, like this third,
Yeah.
like on the third time today, when I was wide awake and I wasn't nodding off even just a little because I did both previous times. I was like, no, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? What's going on? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, and it did kind of suffer from my least favorite movie plot hole. It's I don't know if it's plot hole, but the whole like kill him, kill him, kill him. Nope, you didn't kill him.
Why didn't you kill him?
Yeah.
It's like when, listen, you don't sit around a dinner table with James Bond after you've captured him. You just kill him.
Yeah.
Every supervillain should figure that out by now. You just kill him. You don't feed the guy and keep him locked up with one inept guard. Austin Powers knows not to. Jesus.
Yeah. But we can loosely go through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And skip over the spoilers.
Absolutely.
I mean,
he's essentially charged with the same job. He's a Blade Runner.
He's a Blade Runner.
Kill the
does-
replicants.
Yeah,
And there is a conspiracy.
Yes, of course there is.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Tyrell Corporation is no more. Went out of business. A new guy, Jared Leto, took over it, bought it cheap when it was going under.
Bought it cheap after it went under
And
because of aesthetic farming. And
Right, he's big into synthetic farming.
Yeah.
That's his thing. So he figured out, hey, listen, if we can bring these replicants out and use them as slaves, remove that 4-year lifespan that we had in the last movie.
Oh yeah, and I'll say,
and just use them as slaves to farm.
And there's a big blackout, or where all like data was just
that whole scene was like exposition dump.
Yeah,
really
I didn't really appreciate the blackout, like the talk of it. I thought there was gonna be some follow up with that.
No,
and I didn't get anything out of that. Did you guys hear anything?
There was little, but it was that we had this exposition dump, so we all know what the blackout is. Now somebody just says the blackout, so you know what that is too. Instead of it was completely inorganic.
I didn't
like
it
would have come up. It would have worked better if the police chief had said, "We go find this guy." Like even in the beginning, go find this guy. We think he's a replicant, but our records are sketchy because he's older than the blackout. So we don't know. So you're left with what is this blackout thing? Then somebody else could say, when he went to the thing, you could have like less exposition. Just be like, these are pre-blackout records. So then you get the feeling that the blackout was we lost a lot of information. Not this is what happened during the blackout while we're walking down this hall.
It was kind of spoon-fed, and that part was the only part of the movie that was way too fast.
Yeah. And then it did.
They shoved that down your throat really, really quick,
Well,
and then everything else is just drawn out.
They hung a nice little joke on it to make it funny.
And
To get that,
the joke was all you needed to understand.
Yeah.
Like the line, but my mom cried when we lost all
my baby pictures. He's like, oh, I'm sure you were a beautiful baby. Fucking Nosferatu motherfucker.
That guy was one of the Joker's henchmen in Dark Knight. And the Dark Knight. Yeah, he was the guy that Harvey Dent captures and is about to execute. He plays like the Russian roulette game with him. And then Batman has to stop him. That's the crazy guy.
No, that's
the actor.
No, that was the medical examiner.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
No, we're talking about the guy.
Oh, you're talking about the guy going through the library.
The one who does all the exposition.
The guy who's going through the Library of Congress.
Yeah. He was in the guy you're talking about is in Ant-Man too.
Okay.
Yeah. He's one of the one of Paul Rudd's buddies.
Yeah.
Old men have
prison,
safe.
Prison buddies.
We're going a little far afield.
Stay on target.
Yes. But it's a good, really thick. What do you say? Milky, thick movie. Then that's kind of how it was.
Well, I mean,
and it was good.
Opaque?
Huh?
What you mean?
No, when he was talking about the records and being muddled, the milky, thick thing.
Yeah.
I was trying to use a phrase from the movie. I've seen it 3 times, so I remember.
It was not so clear.
Yeah.
I mean, we do get some audio and a little bit of close-ups of the eye footage from the original movie.
Yeah.
We do see that.
I was like, well, okay, that's a clever excuse to like be able to. We don't have this footage.
Right.
Yeah. And then when you think about it, it works too because the Void Conf machine, it's fucking focused right on the goddamn eye. Yeah.
Well, Ryan Gosling, or K-Pax 8675309, as I like to call him.
K. That was his name.
Okay, Mary Kay is tasked with finding a specific replicant to retire, and as he starts trying to dig up information about this pre-blackout replicant, it becomes imminently, disturbingly familiar, when we start seeing all this audio footage and close-up footage. And this has something to do with Deckard, Harrison Ford's lead character.
Yeah.
And with Rachel, the replicant. He was his romantic, person in the original movie.
Yeah.
It has something to do with that because we keep going back to this footage of them having an interview.
Yeah.
He's already picking out details. Like, I can tell she likes her just from this 10-second audio clip. Why would she provoke him for this question during the testing process?
Yeah, she's trying to provoke him. She must like him.
So already we're putting it together. Okay, clearly this has something to do with Deckard and Rachel. He's clearly going down that road, which would make sense because why else make the movie?
It's a Blade Runner movie.
It's a Blade Runner
so it has
movie.
to be about that somehow.
Right,
Yeah.
it has to have something to do with that. That's how the last one ended.
The way it unfolds is okay.
I actually liked the way it unfolded.
I liked it.
I needed one more thing in the middle, but I'll get to that when we do the rewrites.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours and 45 minutes. I don't know. I would just be chopping stuff down.
Well, no, we could
thing.
chop a bunch of others. We could chop 10 minutes of other stuff and add this 10 minutes in. And you'll probably agree with me.
But for the most part, I despite the fact that I did doze off in 2 places, and I blame that on both having either a minor cold or nasty allergies, and on the fact that the pacing was slow. Because both of the times that I dozed off were in places where characters who had just been introduced to us were pontificating at length without a lot of clear reason as to why.
Why am I listening to you?
So, the first time I dozed off was with Jared Leto's character, the first time we saw him.
Yeah.
And then the second time was with the woman in the
Dreamatorium?
The lab.
The lab, yeah.
For preserve spoiler freeness. She was going on at length, and I dozed off. And unfortunately,
I was dozing off.
And unfortunately, missed some important stuff, which tells me that the editing should have been tighter on that scene because there is important stuff that's getting told in that. But the pacing is so slow that people aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I enjoyed the way the story unfolded.
I liked all the glory shots and everything.
I liked
Clearly,
all the glory shots. I liked.
They were going after what the original cinematographer was
I
all
thought
about.
the cinematography was great.
It's like
It
the
was
original.
beautiful.
They have all these beautiful
it was
glory
like
shots.
the original, but it was a lot easier to see.
Well, the effects are way better.
Nah, that's
and it
not
wasn't
what
as
I
dark.
need. It's not as dark.
Yeah,
That's what I need. Is the original is so dark.
Well, in the original, we're in claustrophobic LA
Right.
all the time.
We're in claustrophobic, limited budget LA because we can't do big CGI
That's
things,
true.
and it's a one-off. So we're not going to spend the money on ILM to build a whole city in somebody's backyard to shoot.
Right.
I will say I like the effects from the first one better, but you get this what I really didn't like.
You always say that.
Yeah, I mean,
guys,
I liked it in
you
a nostalgic
like
way.
cheesy old
Well, no.
effects better
What I'm
than-
saying is, like when you're watching specific shots of like the car flying through the environment. I didn't like the center of fucking frame car flying and everything else all around it.
Okay.
I kind of hated the generic. I just made something. Check it out. It's right in the center of the frame.
That's fair.
Because the rest of the movie, except for those shots, was blockbuster art house movie, kind of basically. That's what this was.
Oh yeah,
This movie it was that.
Well, yeah,
but then you have those
this
shots
is our
where
movie.
we're right in the center. We're right in the center of the frame, and this is the car, and it's doing this thing.
Well, what's
Yeah.
the director's
You did get
Denis
the.
Villeneuve.
Villalobos.
It's hard. It's hard.
Denis.
It's French.
We'll go.
Yeah.
Denis. All right. Well, Danny. Dennis.
Dennis.
Denny. I mean, he's an art house director. He really is.
Yeah,
But
no,
and
it
he
was.
and he loves doing big budget, especially blockbuster budget movies from an artistic standpoint.
No,
he
it was
loves.
It was good. It
shoving,
was just those little.
his
It was
cinematographer
those little
to the front
shots
of the
for
world.
especially early on in the movie, you're watching his car fly through everything, and it's this big back drawn out shot, and it's in the middle of the frame. Then the next shot, it's right down on top of everything, and it's passing by buildings.
Yeah, but it's a cinematographer.
Little tosses back and forth.
That's the DP saying, "Listen, we know what people want. The audience is going to want to see what all these glory shots are going to look like because they have the original to pull from." So I get why they went over the top. It wore off for me after a while. It just did. The effects were great.
I still liked it.
Every one of them, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, the effect that it was having on me was wearing thin by the end.
See, my problem
where
with
I just
the-
kind of got sick of it seeing it all.
My problem with the big wide open shots, besides the center frame for things, was I understand what you're trying to do, but everything looks like a kind of gray, barely textured background underneath of that. I understand that everything's built up so high. You've got these little things of light here and there, but just like a little more detail would have helped.
I appreciate the
Driven
effects.
it home more.
I just, after a while, I just thought they were relying on them a little too much towards the end. By the end of the second act, I was like, okay, we don't need any of these more establishing shots that are like glory shots. You know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of, this is a little bit off topic, but I'll get right back on it, I promise. Reminded me of Star Trek The Motion Picture.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because like the first 10 minutes of that fucking movie are just glory shots of the Enterprise because it's the first time they got to build a full-sized model and not the little dinky like 171 scale, 172.
Oh, no, the original model's huge. It's as big as this fucking table.
No, but the one from the TV show.
No, it's as big as this table.
Right, and the
It's
one they
huge.
used in the movie was way more detailed, way better cameras.
It was the new Enterprise.
No,
It
but
was the new Enterprise.
Wow,
it was
we're really getting off target.
no. My point is, it's way new money and way new. Like, hey, listen, we really want to show this off.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of the shots in this movie kind of started to get to me, where it's like, okay, listen, we get it. You really love or tongue kiss your DP at night. I don't know what goes on there.
Oh,
We get it.
gonna-
You're cinematographer, and you're doing brunch tomorrow. We get it.
And I'm going to
Dude.
say this since we're off target. The Southern Oracle from Neverending Story is in
Yeah, I
this
saw
movie.
that. Yeah, I saw that. I turned to Rachel right when I saw that in the middle
I said
of
that
nowhere.
to Steven too. I'm like,
I was
it's
like-
a Southern Oracle.
I looked up at Rachel. I was like, it's another ending story.
Yeah.
Getting back on
But
target.
yeah, the cinematography
Back
it
on
just
target,
it
yes.
wore thin for me after a while because I see it and all the shots are beautiful. Unfortunately, the effect they were having on me wasn't like in the original where I got it and I was like blown away by it. This time I was blown away in the beginning, and then after a while I was like, Jesus Christ, do we need a 30-second shot of him driving down the street? Or okay, it's in the air, but I mean, come on.
Well, that was
That's
the
what I was
thing.
talking about to you earlier when we were talking about trimming it down, and you were like, "But if we trimmed it too much, we'd lose stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, but there were several places, at least 30 places, where a sequence could have been cut by 30 seconds."
Yeah, when he's just driving,
It's like The Revenant.
Well,
Yeah,
when he's
thereby
just
making the movie at least 15 minutes shorter just by cutting like
And tighter.
30 different 30 seconds.
Which is where my scene in the middle will come in at the end.
yeah, but him just driving, you got all that.
So many of those, or him walking down, oh my god,
establishing shots, I didn't have a problem with.
No, I'm
when
not
they're
talking about
big and they're long,
Yeah,
because he's walking into this massive building, and we need to pull back to see the massive.
but we only need one establishing shot.
Right.
We don't need to then track him walking slowly
That's what I mean.
up
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
flight of stairs,
Yeah, I know.
and then up the second flight of stairs, and then up the third flight of stairs. Like, okay,
I'll give you
at this
one.
point, we
I'll
already
give you
know
one
where
and
he's
two.
at, yeah.
After that, let's just skip to where he makes it to the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. No, and I agree. That, like I said, it was stuff like that was wearing thin on me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Enough's enough already. We got the establishing shot. It's over. He's in the room. Can we move on to when something happens? So he's essentially chasing after the Deckard. And Rachel.
Yeah.
So essentially to find out their story.
To find out what's going on because the
Because
person he kills at the beginning led him to that
Right.
thread.
Exactly.
And that's another problem I have.
But I mean, that's essentially what's
see when we
happening
get spoilers,
in a
yeah,
nutshell.
yeah.
As we saw in the first movie, Deckard and Rachel skip off, and even if you watch the final cut where it just goes to black after they close the door, they escape.
Yeah.
In the original, they go on this long journey and they escape LA and they go driving through the countryside and everything.
And then get to nature.
And then and
Which is a contradiction because why
and-
would you
and-
live in LA? if
Yeah,
you
and
can be out
Ridley's
in nature?
exactly, and one of those things that Ridley's like, yeah, we're getting rid of that.
Yeah.
I want this world to be as bad as this terrible LA.
But no
is.
matter which version of the original you watch, it does end with Deckard and Rachel leaving together.
Yes.
Yeah, because like I've
getting away.
only ever seen the original. So
Oh.
Okay, and I've only ever seen the final cut,
yeah,
so-
that kind of confused me.
Okay.
Like, what happened to the forest?
I would say watch the final cut for the editing, watch the director's cut for the color grading. That was one thing, because we recently rewatched the Final Cut, and I didn't like the color, what Ridley did with the color. He just
Did he
took-
punch
he
it
pulled
down
all
or
the
punch it up?
No, he's put
Down?
everything was green all of a sudden. He took all the green out of Alien and shoved it into this. And I'm like,
Maybe
dude.
that was part of why I found it hard to see.
Yeah.
Difficult to
Director's cut was a
see
lot.
last
Director's
night.
cut looked clearer.
It was like everything was the same color, and
Yeah.
I don't know how much
Yeah.
of that was color grading.
That's-
Anyway, I'm getting a little
Yeah,
off target.
no, but
That's fine.
this was really making decisions.
This-
Regardless,
Yeah, there
If you-
was a lot of contrast.
There, yeah.
in color.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
easy
did you
to
guys?
see.
Okay, this is something
And-
I noticed too
And
in
like
the third
also,
viewing.
like by location, it's like
yeah.
it's like
I noticed something on purpose. When I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're, okay.
I know
In the
what you're
director's cut, he takes this out a little bit in the Final Cut we rewatch. He makes it a little bit more green. But in the director's cut, when you're in LA and you're in like a room, anything that's lit, it's very blue. Very, very blue. And that's not weird. A lot of blue light, a lot of tungsten, a lot of fluorescent light.
That makes it green.
It's not, fluorescent light. Well,
it
yeah.
actually makes it green. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it looks very blue. Is what you're getting. And that's not weird in Hollywood because they like to offset colors a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of white actors tend to look a little orange after color grading. So if you put a lot of blue also in the scene,
Yeah.
they're at the complete opposite on the color wheel. There's your contrast, and
Yeah.
it looks pretty. Look at any big blockbuster movie poster. You'll see a shit ton of orange and blue.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of studies on it, and it works. Our human brains and our eyes like it. Anyway, the original director's cut, and
Lots of blue.
even the theatrical cut, but especially director's cut, lots of blue. All these scenes, even the opening shot where they're doing that interview in the beginning of the first Blade Runner, and
got
they're
a
having
blue-
that discourse where they catch one of the rogue wreck.
Yeah, it's got a blue tint.
It's
to it,
very,
yeah.
very blue,
Yeah.
right? Right. Well,
This movie,
it was all very, very blue, very, very blue, very, very blue. This movie was kind of neutral, and then we get to the Harrison Ford shit. As soon as we get to Deckard, all of a sudden, not blue, very orange.
Yeah.
Very the complete opposite
Washed out
of
orange, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Very the complete
washed
opposite.
in orange is a good way of putting
Right.
it.
Yeah.
The complete opposite of the original
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's
so it's almost like showing, like, if you watch them back to back, which we kind of did, it's first off, it's like 5.5 hours, so it's
Yeah.
a lot. But if you watched it in a marathon in one big movie, there's a big dramatic shift. And you go to all of a sudden,
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, we're back to Deckard, and something has changed.
Pull up a chair.
He's now orange.
We're still in non-spoilers, so
We're still
you guys can get
non-spoilers,
on
but
this.
we're rapidly approaching spoilers.
And we just got joined by Murphy and Nikki.
Yeah, how's it going?
Hey everybody, it's Murphy.
We're doing well.
Cocktail.
So we're just getting into spoilers pretty soon. We're coming up on it. I mean, that's what I know. It's just with the color grading, and that's, I promise you, as Steven, you said, the cinematographer in this. Hire the cinematographer, fire the editor. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, it was very much a matter of like location. Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. It's like there were like very like there's like in the first scene it was very very gray,
Yes.
very muted, and then it's like sometimes there's where it was like I don't remember exactly where it was, but there's like a really black on white.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the
Well, I know what character you're thinking
Well,
of.
let's take a step really quick. Murphy, this
Yeah.
is Steven, Rachel,
Nice to meet you.
and John.
John?
I am John of Some Guy and John.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, buddy.
Shake hands again. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think the cinematographer, like you said, hire the cinematographer, fire the editor.
Yeah.
Again, Warner Brothers, they're not great with editing. Like I said, look at the DC movies. They're not good at editing these movies.
Who
nowadays.
edited it?
Feel free to jump in.
I
anytime.
don't even know his name, but I'm sure he's a studio editor.
I didn't mind it. I like the longer cuts, even though I actually did nod off a little, but that's because I didn't get much
You nodded
sleep.
off, Guy nodded off,
Yeah.
twice,
Twice.
in
I
two,
nodded
two,
off
two, di-
twice.
two different showings. In two
I-
to three times, she nodded
Yeah.
off twice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
It's not like
No,
one
he-
guy does it.
He
that's-
saw it. Well, Guy
multiple
saw it.
people doing
I've seen it 3 times.
Guy said he nodded off in 2 of those times.
Yeah.
Did you nod off tonight?
No.
Good for you.
I really like
Rachel
the
nodded off
pacing.
twice.
I thought
You
the
did
pacing
you nod off?
was slower.
You nod off. Yeah,
You could drink it in more, like the
not if you were asleep. I came close a few
Go,
times.
go ahead,
yeah.
Murphy. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
It's like
Go ahead.
you can have beautiful shots, but like there wasn't always quite enough tension.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah,
I did not off
slow points.
like basically if you want an example of what I think is like just that expertly has like these beautiful, colorful shots with maybe not necessarily so much happening, but there's always tension. Breaking Bad.
Sure.
Yeah, that.
Well, I don't really feel like there was a lot of color. I thought the color was muted more like Dunkirk in this film.
Sometimes
in the beginning,
Yeah,
but then
it's like
we shift to like almost sepia practically.
Yeah,
it's very
and then-
orange.
yeah, and then-
but
and then
I think
right.
my theory is that it's to offset the original, which is, the director's cut at least,
Yeah.
Right, well,
which is
yeah.
very very blue. So
Yeah,
orange,
and
blue, color wheel,
and it-
different side. I think that's what they're going for, to show that Deckard has changed
Deckard.
from the with a D.
I don't know where you get the Deckard,
Rachel.
but it's okay.
No, it's because he's trying to emphasize the D, because if he just says Deckard, he leaves off the second D.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, because he's changed from the original, where it's just mainly a lot of blue. Because hey, it's LA.
Do you think they put that thought into
Now,
it?
but it only happens when we get to the Harrison Ford.
and also there was.
I'll say Harrison Ford. When we get to Harrison Ford, all of a sudden it's very orange, very different. So if you watch him, that's my theory.
And it also had that like that trailer shot with like the neon girl.
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
Well, where Ghost in the Shell came from.
Of course.
Because we're going back to 82, yeah.
But yeah, I
that's it.
hired
That's
the
it. I just realized
cinematographer.
it.
I guess fire the editor.
The big
There's
shot,
plenty of editors that would jump
the
on.
big shots of the city when he's flying through didn't have any fire.
No,
That's
fine.
what threw it off a little for me.
Thank you.
Okay, I could see that. I'm trying to remember the name of the DP. He's my favorite DP too, and I can't remember his name. I've been drinking. From Breaking Bad, that is. Shit.
Off target.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll think of it
Yeah.
later.
All right. So,
Anyway,
So we're still early enough. Where were your guys?
we're
general
early enough before we hit spoilers.
Non-spoiler
Non-spoilers.
thoughts on the movie.
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was. I kept thinking about old actual noir, like one of my favorites is From the Past, which is oh god, Mitchum. I think it's all about Sierras. Anyway, I was thinking about old. Like kind of there's sort of destination,
Like
some
thick,
travel,
slow detective movies,
But
or-
actually, when you boil it down, it's a really simple thing. It's not like a lot of like this little clue means a whole lot. It's just like the guy goes there, gets his ass kicked, goes there, kills someone, goes there, and like this had like I felt like it was pretty thin on everything else. It was just a lot of stuff for people to read a lot into.
Yeah.
But it was pretty straightforward of just like.
Go here, do this.
I go here, I
yeah.
shoot that, I get shot down,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I like that. I thought that was it didn't have to be crazy because everyone's looking for. I mean, you look at Prometheus, you look at the
God.
next day. I know, right? Which, of course, I think we all saw the word Prometheus show up.
Prometheus, Robin Hood, any of the ones that Ridley did that didn't go anywhere.
Gladiator.
Studio just did not like. It's in the funny, the truthful, honest trailers.
Oh yeah.
They actually show off all the Ridley Scott movies that he's done over the past 10 years. It just didn't go anywhere.
I never saw Blade Runner, so
Oh, it's okay.
I was all, Battlestar Galactica. Okay.
Yeah, a little
They
bit.
are Cylons. Okay,
Yeah,
I get
little.
it. Oh.
Sure.
And
Got a
stuff.
heavy Gattaca vibe toward the end there, especially.
Never ending
Well,
story.
it's just as slow. I'll give
Yeah,
you
they're
that.
in there. They're in there.
Sorry.
Well,
Gattaca?
the pacing was about the same.
Yeah, and the architecture, the weird, unexplained.
Oh, okay,
purposes,
yeah,
But also specifically the whole plot, like.
Wait,
we
we haven't revealed the.
That's why I didn't
Oh,
want
yeah, we haven't
spoiler.
got
Yeah,
spoilers yet.
yeah.
We're getting close though.
I enjoyed it for not knowing anything about anything.
No, it's a
Yeah.
good
I fell
solid
asleep
movie.
all 3 times I tried to watch Blade Runner.
Can't. It's not the
I don't think
fastest
it-
paced movie.
I don't think it's because it was boring.
No.
I think I was 20 and
Yeah.
either I was already tired or
Yeah.
Also, which
Didn't care.
version did you see?
That too.
So
like
this
the
would have
original.
been over 20 years ago.
20 years
There
ago.
were still
so-
3 cuts of
Yeah,
it at that
exactly.
point, yeah.
I,
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly. if there was narration in the background and it's trying to be a noir movie because the
That's
studio
it.
wanted to make it a noir movie because people, test audiences,
I think I probably
couldn't
made it.
follow along.
I made it like probably 10 minutes in and fell asleep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have no idea.
It was one of them.
As much as I like this movie, it might be my new go-to-sleep movie. 'Cause, goddamn, it's good, but it's like,
Well, see,
okay.
Gosling's so pretty. I just watched
See,
that all
there you
day.
see.
I'm checking out.
He didn't take his shirt off.
That's okay.
There was 1 second
Oh,
In the
was
where
shower?
in the background you saw Gosling butt.
So his
I'll go back
butt?
and watch it right now.
Like
That-
side Gosling butt.
that was
Yeah.
one of the
Okay.
one of the shots that
Wait, he
some
didn't
of
have his
us
shirt
fell
off when he was
asleep
in the
during.
shower. With
Yeah,
the,
but
with
it's from the above.
with
so
the
it's not
point
like
of
it's
saying
a-
this is 99.9 pure water.
Oh, yeah.
That was so
I
great.
was watching the girls. There's his virtual
They
love
all look
interest.
so much the
His
same.
her?
They're
Yeah, his her.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is
They
which,
did all
which
look the same.
we put together, which was the love interest in War Dogs. With
I didn't see War Dogs.
What's
Yeah.
his name again?
Miles Teller.
Miles
Yeah.
Teller's love interest, not Jonah Hill's. Miles Teller's love interest.
So
I
do
thought
And-
that one chick was Katy Perry.
which one?
The hooker.
The hooker is from
kind of.
Black Mirror,
Mirror, yeah.
Sandy
Which
Nipero.
I have not.
Love
that's her.
that-
That's why.
That's
But
the
you
girl.
know, but you know who she was though.
She was also in
No, she was
The
the
Martian.
Daryl. She was Daryl Hannah from the first one.
I
I got that vibe
yeah.
a lot.
In
'cause
some
of the
ways.
eyes.
Kinda,
Yeah.
I
That
guess,
was a
yeah.
callback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
guess,
was an intentional callback, but I
Yeah.
think she
Yeah.
was
But
a new character in her own
Oh, is it a
right.
character?
Well, yeah, but
I just like
yeah.
seeing the actress like, when
Yeah.
she's the analyst in The Martian, where she notices, "Hey, Matt Damon's still alive."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in Sandy Nipero in that awesome Black Mirror, which didn't win an Emmy.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we're getting way off target,
Yeah, awesome.
and that wedding
So-
party is going to run.
Yeah, so I love seeing her
Do we want
and her side boob.
Do we want
Well
to
done.
skip up the spoilers?
Yes.
I think we're at that time.
Okay, Gosling's a fucking replicant. We're in spoilers. He's a replicant.
That's not a spoiler.
You
We got
find that out within the first,
Yeah,
like,
I
No,
mean,
but-
six
But you
minutes.
didn't know
I
it
didn't
going
know
into the
that.
movie.
They kept
I
that.
did.
They kept that secret.
I thought that
They
was
did.
At least,
They
as
did,
far, as
but-
far as I'm concerned,
I-
from the
they kept that
trailers?
secret.
They tried, but I think the
from the
trailers
fact that
kind
it
of
was
give it
played by-
away. But
I-
yeah, but they don't
I-
explicitly
he's
say
like
it.
I didn't notice it.
They don't
Okay.
explicitly.
Because
And the whole
Harrison
thing at the
Ford was a real
when he
person. They
said
were the
that he was
ambiguous.
Well,
yeah.
is he?
Even though
I mean,
know
they
dudes that
did.
put
They
glue in
literally.
their-
Yeah, I know.
They literally
everybody
have
has a different answer because
Everybody has a different
Ridley
answer.
Scott says
Jared Leto
Deckard's.
tried to pin it down.
Deckard's a
Ridley
replicant.
Scott says Deckard's a replicant.
Harrison Ford says he's not a
Yeah.
And Philip K. Dick says he wasn't in the novel, but he's not sure in the movie.
Yeah.
And then he
but-
goes back to Battlestar Galactica and can two Cylons have a kid?
Well, is it two Cylons or is it?
That's the question.
See, that-
Is that why she has no
See,
immune system?
that-
She has
that-
to be behind.
See, that's,
Yeah, yeah.
that's where me and Rachel ended up because there was a C-section because they found the tiny little scalpel marks. So
Oh, yeah, that's
there was a
problem number
C-section.
one I had.
So no matter what, this
She
is not
wasn't
an actual
born.
word.
She was
Yeah,
removed
but
like a
was she
tumor.
half replicant or was she full-on replicant? And is the real threat that replicants can now actually reproduce on their own without humans? See, if you think of it,
because
see,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is
Like those
see,
hermaphroditic
see, right. See, this is why the theory that I like to subscribe to is that Deckard is a replicant. All of a sudden, it gives more weight to this story in the sequel because now you can have replicants making other replicants with other replicants. You don't need humans anymore. See, if
But
you
see, I like that
if you-
he's a human being for the exact same
yeah, but you
reason
see,
that.
but you see, now only you can ever get is half a replicant.
Yeah, that's
and you
not a
need
problem.
humans. No,
No, you don't need.
There's no fear.
Scene
There's no
great-
fear
at
there.
the end where that woman is talking to Kay and she's like, "This is great. Like we can become our own masters now." And how can they fully become their own masters if they always need a human to reproduce with?
Right. If they don't need humans because Deckard was a replicant the whole time.
So that implies
Then-
the miracle is really a miracle,
Right.
not just the quote-unquote miracle of birth.
Unless
Right.
you use
Yeah.
frog DNA.
Okay.
right. Life found a way.
See, here's my thing.
Dino DNA.
Here's my thing with that. The human things is that maybe it doesn't matter if it's a human and a replicant or a replicant and a replicant. They're more alike than anybody ever thought.
I like it
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
So
that's kind of what
so
I was
her whole-
thinking
like
because
the-
they're basically like more clones.
Yeah, like the police
Then-
chief is like, there's a wall between us, replicants and humans. If you break down that wall, meaning to
Yeah, but
a
the
human
biggest,
and a replicant
but the
can
biggest
have
wall
a
is that
kid,
can't reproduce.
Yeah,
now they can.
Yeah, but we still don't know. And like Leto like fucking.
That's why it gives more weight.
Leto drops straight up where he's like, "Was it engineered that you would fall in love with her the very first
yeah.
time you met her?"
It's
And
like,
I'm
Or was it engineered by
or
was it engineered by perfect match?
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
leaves
Leaves
it
it open.
ambiguous.
Yeah,
Like, was
yeah.
it
it's like
engineered by
he's
me?
almost talking to the audience right there.
Well,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Denise
That was-
said in an interview that you read me, Rachel, that,
Yeah, it's
that
like-
he was going to actually kind of shed some light on whether or not.
No,
or
what
he was
said
gonna bring it up.
Definitely going to continue the mystery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which
So
he did.
why
Go
did,
ahead.
Why did Jared stab the chick in the
Yeah,
stomach?
yeah.
I don't know because
we
I
had
was
we had a
falling
long
asleep.
talk. Yeah, but we had a long talk about me and Rachel.
But John actually has a really good theory.
I have a theory, and I kind of like it. Now, he has been talking like we want to turn millions into billions and billions into trillions. So he's making millions of these things.
Yeah.
So him making replicants, he's pumping them out left and right. So they are essentially like meaningless.
And he's still saying
You
that
know?
he can't make enough.
Right, exactly. So it's like he's mass producing M&Ms.
Right.
What is one M&M worth to the owner of M&M?
But it was
Nothing,
way,
right?
It was way more significant than
Right.
just
It was,
killing her.
yeah,
Killing her.
I know, and that's what I was saying. I was like, why did he kill her? She comes out of the Ziploc bag, so she was just
Because
born.
he stabs her in the uterus.
That's
and
what I'm
talks
saying.
About
But
the
he's
space between the stars.
no, but he slices her in the.
Oh,
he doesn't
did he?
stab
See,
her.
I couldn't
He's,
see.
Yeah, he
I
cuts
know.
her open. Yeah.
He slices her as if it's a C-section.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same place you would give a C-section.
See, I thought it was a failed experiment. I thought,
No.
oh crap, this one's not pregnant.
No, he was talking about
Well,
no
there-
because
there's
he
that
was
possibility
he was
too,
in
but
he
yeah.
was in mid sentence talking about he's at his pinnacle with the replicants. This is his pinnacle. This is
Yeah.
where we were at.
So what's the
and
point
while
of doing
and
this?
while he's talking about it,
So-
he's like, but I still can't figure out how to make them fuck each other and make their own. So he slices almost. And then he slices out her as if to give her a C-section. He slices her out, and she dies.
Yeah.
And she's just born, so she doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
She's like a helpless infant in an adult body. And he's emphasizing the point that no matter how good he can make these things, he cannot make them reproduce by themselves. He can't figure it out how to do it. So he needs to find
Tyrell
this kid.
figured out how to do it. Yeah.
Right, but Tyrell figured out how to do it because he needs to find this kid. He needs to find Decker. He needs to find these people because they figured it out somehow.
Go
Yeah,
for it.
reverse engineer.
So that exactly. So
They
that's
keep
where I'm at.
mentioning that
Rant over.
Gosling
Yes,
doesn't like real girls.
Yeah.
it's true.
So that would lead you to think that replicants aren't down with real chicks. Replicants are only. He was interested in the chick that was not real.
Right.
Yeah.
So if a
Yeah.
replicant had a baby, maybe it was only with another replicant because they're not, actually not attracted. That's another
Yeah.
oh hey, maybe
see
if
that.
they don't like, hey guys, they don't like real chicks. They don't like
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
chicks.
They're attracted
That-
to their own kind.
That it's leading to the idea that they did.
Interesting.
Because I thought that the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy was his dad. When I saw the date on the tree, I went,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's him.
Right.
He's the
I mean,
missing
Dax.
kid."
Dave-
and he killed his dad.
Dave
he
Bautista.
killed his dad.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
Dax?
But that's
Drax.
obviously not
Sorry,
his dad.
Dax
I
Shepard.
didn't know
Drax.
Harrison Ford was going to be in this,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or Jared Leto for that matter. It was woo!
Oh, he
I can't be
replaced-
all over the place.
We need to throw a lot more to her.
He
because
replaced
we've
Bowie
seen
because
both
Bowie
movies,
died.
Yeah, David Bowie was supposed to be
Bowie,
Jared
Bowie.
Leto.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I
How
see that.
fucking awesome
That
would
would
that
also
have
Bowie
been?
was in it. Yeah. But Jared Leto stepped in a pinch.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was good. He's eccentric.
And he's a
enough,
method
yeah.
actor, so he put real contacts in that he
Yes.
couldn't see.
Yes, thank you.
He really went full, but that's what he does.
Oh no, he's a
So-
beautiful man. I don't care. Like he's a replicant. Fuck that guy. But, is he living in Iron Lung? He's
No,
gorgeous.
I did. Yeah.
Ah.
He's a year younger than me. Take care of
Ouch.
your bodies, kids.
We
He is.
got all personal with
He
that all of a sudden.
is. He's a year younger
Oh,
than
but
me.
we
Take
love,
care of your
but
bodies.
we love
So-
you.
Thank
It
you.
went a little scream for me, like, "Oh, Billy's a killer." No, he's not. Yes, he is. I'm like, "Oh, Gosling's a replicant." No, he's not. Oh,
Well,
shit.
are we
Yeah.
into spoilers?
No, we're in the spoilers. I
All
already
right,
said
good.
it. We're Gosling's a fucking replicant,
I was fooled
Me too.
when I mean they stuck me in because again, really long movie, but not even like halfway into the second act, I was stuck on the like,
Wait,
Gosling is Harrison Ford's
Yeah.
baby. That's what it is. The age is right. All this matches up, and you
He's
know,
got the memories. He's got everything.
right. He's got all the memories.
I-
That's what it is.
I thought Harrison Ford might have been the kid.
Interesting.
I thought Harrison Ford might have been like the.
Now that would have been a real twist.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get the. I
You
wasn't
lost
sure
the
about
time, the time frames. Yeah.
The time frames with
I felt like
that.
that.
But
I was sort of thinking that might be an interesting compromise if instead of giving an answer like
that would be.
he's
I'll give you
half
interesting.
replicant.
I'll give you interesting.
That would be interesting because then it'd be they don't give birth to new children; they give birth to clones.
Yeah, but then it sounds like
Which would be
but then with a little bit too much Ridley Scott, then it's like what we do with Ripley in the Alien series.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
where
it's,
she's dead, so now here's her clone.
Yeah,
Well, that's what
And
the.
I care less about the clone than I cared about her.
That's what the markings on the pelvic bone were. It was actually a chest burster. It was Wayland Yutani.
Well, see,
Right,
that was like my first
Okay, so
problem
what's your
because
problem with that? You've
like-
said that a couple times now.
because we're watching them do everything, and out of nowhere he's like, let's just keep zooming in and zooming in. Why is he doing that?
Well,
Oh,
he saw
CSI
He
enhanced.
saw something.
Yeah, I want.
Well,
No,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you know that. You must remember it from the first one because they don't say enhance in this movie once. And I know you heard people in the background saying he should be saying enhance. He doesn't ever say that.
It's like CSI or
Super Troopers.
SVU
Enhance.
or-
Click.
But it's
Enhance.
it's
Click,
from-
click,
He's
click,
not
click.
even the guy that works there, and he's the one that's sticking with it and getting in closer
know.
to
Yeah,
you.
that's
that guy's
why I was
job.
like,
But he's a
why-
Blade Runner, so he gets all kinds of power.
Well, that's why I was
Which
like,
is what we saw.
Why
I
is he
figured he
doing
was
that
a
though?
replicant, so he had really good vision, and so he was just trying to confirm what he was already kind of seeing.
Well, no, it was behind layers of stuff though.
Yeah.
It was like seeing what's behind
So
that
what's
tree.
weird about the serial number being in a cut is it actually like a pattern that's within the whole bone, like a
Yeah, so it
sandwich?
should have been in a bunch of other places before that.
Because that was very
Yeah.
convenient. They had to
That's-
get it right there.
Yeah, because
Should
he's
have been.
like,
It seemed
'cause
a
he
little too
zooms
convenient.
He zooms in at least
Yeah.
3 or 4 times through layers of things.
Yeah.
So it's like trees behind trees behind
Yeah.
trees.
To find out it was Rachel's bones.
Why are you doing this?
It is a little too convenient. But you know
But-
what? But by contrast, would you rather have the original where it's just Harrison Ford just quietly looking at pictures and with no narration in the original movie, just like the audience is left to be like, okay, that
No,
means
the
something.
original movie
okay,
had
that
the
picture
original
means
movie
something.
had narration, and he would say, "I thought there was something kind of weird about this." So I looked further, and then you get the enhance. I wanted somebody in this movie to say enhance
know.
once.
I
Just-
know.
Oh, that's
just
right.
once.
Because he
Because-
looks all the way through and sees a reflection in the mirror.
He's seeing
Yeah,
all this
that's
stuff.
right.
Right, but
Yeah.
Ridley Scott did not shoot it like a noir movie.
Yeah, he
So,
didn't.
but the studio later said we need to add in narration because
that's-
the audience isn't getting this. They're not following along. They're not that smart. They don't see this little tiny thing in the background.
Yeah, that's like
Okay, fair enough. But
I
I would
understand-
rather than just with that short one scene of enhance without saying the word enhance, because it was done and it was over, and I didn't have to sit through another like 45 minutes of our lead character just looking at pictures and looking at documents. He actually went somewhere.
That was-
I
that
did
was my
appreciate
first problem.
that. I did appreciate that.
And on third viewing, I understand a little bit because it's chained together backwards
Okay.
from his memories.
Well, yeah, I can see that. I mean, the
it's-
memories are always the key because that's
The
how we
memories are always-
that's how we
always the key,
that's
yeah.
how we lead to the kid.
Yeah, and
Who
that's exactly
had me fooled when we get to the Dreamatorium where
Yeah.
she's behind closed doors and she gives us that little story of, well, I have an immune problem, so I'm stuck in this bubble.
Okay, well, did
And-
you notice that? Because I thought of it the first time I saw it.
I didn't.
then I picked it up. I picked it.
I didn't think
picked
that.
it up
I
right
didn't think
away.
she was the
Well, what
kid.
did you?
This is
I
what I
didn't
picked
either.
up. This is what
I
I
didn't
picked
think
up
she
right
was the
away.
kid, no.
She's getting chased by a bunch of boys who all have shaved heads.
See,
She's
that's
supposed
part of
to
the
be a
part that I
boy.
was falling asleep
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
I was all, why does he have hair?
Why does
And
he
they
have
don't.
hair? And then when he goes to the place and sees all the kids, oh, all the boys have shaved heads, all the girls have actual hair.
Can we
Oh,
talk-
okay.
And when Ryan Gosling says, "I think you're the type who had a long memory and keeps
Right.
records,"
Right.
bullshit. That's a guy who keeps records.
Well, no,
30 years ago.
Winston from
He
Ghostbusters.
was
Yeah.
an illegal. He was running an illegal
No,
sweatshop.
he was from Walking
That's
Dead.
what he was running. He was
Yeah,
running
that
a
was
sweat.
the stick
Bullshit.
guy.
Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I didn't.
You said Winston, I was like,
I'm with you a total 100% on that one, Steven.
Now,
That-
were they living
that-
in San Onofre nuclear power plant?
well, I
No,
don't-
they were living. This was kind of great. San Diego gets turned into the garbage dump for,
I know,
for
it
Los
does, yeah.
Angeles, but
It does, but there's a,
I
he
understood what
randomly
he was
lands
saying.
on the what you call the sweatshop.
well, no,
It was very convenient.
Okay.
He makes his way there really
No,
quickly.
this is how you understand
He
that.
gets shot down.
He's straight up said, people have come here before and tried to shut me down.
Yeah.
There's records of kids coming out of that place from 30 years ago. This guy's completely fucked in the head. So when he says, people have come here and tried to shut me down, actual real men, he's been there a long fucking time, so he has all his shit in order to stop people from shutting him down.
So this seems like also like it's a
I don't
path
know.
that's...
I'm kind of with Steven on this one. And he's clearly always in danger of it.
Well, he's a savant.
I mean, like, sort of.
He's running a sweatshop.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he's running more than that. Yeah.
I could kind of see that explanation, but that explanation would kind of work if they made it a bit less sweatshopping.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Just a little, not too much, but just a
It
little bit less.
It was
sweatshopping.
very criminally.
Yeah.
And apparently only this guy, as a criminal, and Al Capone kept records for the IRS to fight through.
But see, here's
that
a
was
better
so
question.
stupid. He kept the. Why would
Who
you
ripped
even
out the
bother?
pages in the book?
So I thought
Who ripped out the pages in the book?
I thought that was
Why did he
indicative.
even have the pages in the first place?
I thought it was
made no
indicative of
sense.
like of a repeat of like this isn't the first time someone's followed this breadcrumb. This isn't the first time.
Yeah.
Like a diet or whatever, Edge of Tomorrow kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like
Somebody's come through there before.
Yeah.
I
he
could
didn't
see
do
that.
it, but they've always been gone.
Yeah,
and
I could-
he's gotten
I
part
could
of
see
it.
that,
Later,
but wouldn't
when
those
Deckard
people be
tells him,
Robin
like-
Wright? And wouldn't she be
No,
able to
because-
help him?
because
Say,
we
hey,
find
go
out
to this
later
place?
when
Or
Deckard tells Kay, like, we set it up so that we had a team to pull this together.
Yeah.
And part of it was I wasn't anywhere near her even before, like,
I was
we were
gone
already
when she
far
was
away
born,
when
yeah.
She gave,
Yeah.
but, like,
Yeah.
I couldn't know
and, like,
anything. They couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't
I
want to know
taught them. He doesn't say her. He says I taught
Them, because
Them,
it's
yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
a group of people.
how to
Well,
erase their trash.
It's
Well,
that,
Rachel
it's that
and the kid.
beautifully horrible thing
No,
from
because he
Dune.
never meets the kid.
You tell two people to go do something, then you
Alright,
kill
yeah.
He
those two
means
people,
Rachel
so
and
nobody
the
knows what
people
actually
who were
happened.
helping
Yeah.
them,
Oh, right.
which means
The
they
Joker.
had people helping them,
See, I
and
didn't get
that's
that.
presumably
I thought it was
who
Rachel
ripped
and the
pages
kid,
out.
but yeah,
How-
okay.
no, because he says I never
You
even
never met them.
kid.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
True. Okay, yeah.
That's what, there's a lot to unpack in this movie. That's why I'll probably see it a fourth and
When she's
fourth and
looking
fifth
at
time.
his memories,
Yeah.
at first I'm thinking, oh, he's thinking of the horse, and he's thinking of like the stuff that we saw.
Right.
And then when she starts crying, and I was like, oh, maybe he's not. Maybe he's thinking of something that's like horrible that we haven't even seen
Yeah,
yet.
he's just sending her dick pics.
Oh, but she wouldn't be crying.
She'd be laughing.
No, she wouldn't be doing that.
Well, the horse
But now I
was-
realize
Yeah, I mean, the horse was a big thing
they
because...
were her memories,
Right.
and that's why she's crying. But she didn't say anything. She
Well,
said,
here's-
these
Well,
are
the-
real. Somebody lived these, and she doesn't
Yes.
say
Yeah, she doesn't say.
where did you get these?
She never
No.
said
Well,
I
but what
did.
she
She
says
said
is
some.
the artist always leaves a little bit of
Something.
themselves in their best work.
Right.
And then she said,
But that was a lot
"This
more
happened
than
to
a
somebody."
little.
She
Yeah.
said, "This
They set him
happened to
up.
But
somebody."
yeah, but she did
And she doesn't say this didn't happen to you. She said this happened to somebody.
Yeah, exactly. She leaves it kind of ambiguous. Like I heard about this
I mean, he
from
was
the
a-
one kid,
it's like he was
and
the
that's what I
decoy.
did. I'm sorry.
It was like he was a decoy.
Yeah,
If they were
almost.
ever going to go after somebody and find somebody like they did,
Yeah.
Right.
it would
So-
be him and not.
Well,
she doesn't even know who the fuck she is. But
Well, there's a thing too, like
it doesn't seem
the
like it. I mean,
horse-
her story is well, she's lying,
So
or
has
she's lying.
she made up for herself this story about?
Yeah, she could be
well,
lying.
I fell ill, so then
Yeah.
I told
Like,
my
does she know,
parents
like-
to go off world.
Could be.
that I think it's like Leia and Luke. That's
Yeah.
the story she knows. That's all she
That
knows.
could be.
Yeah, that's
That could
what
be.
I think.
Because if she knew anything, they could come get her
Yeah.
too.
Exactly.
And then like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
no,
think
She
she's in a
doesn't know
little. I
anything.
think she's in a little
those
bit
were
of.
just her memories.
that and that makes sense, but that also brings me back to like, oh, I thought Decker was talking about Rachel and the kid, but you're saying you brought it up. Oh, they never met. When he says, "I taught them how to hide,"
Yeah,
No, he
there's-
taught the
taught a
crew
group
that
of
took
people.
care
right?
of it.
Well,
And
and
then
that's-
they
They
had
had
Yeah.
9 months.
and they had to
presumably
filter it
figure
down,
out.
and then they had to filter it down to her and say, "Listen, you're a real girl, but by the way, you have a bad immune thing, so we're going to keep you in this bubble. Your parents skipped out."
These are your parents. They have to leave. Bye.
Yeah, and
Right.
Yeah,
then,
like Leia's parents.
I- see, I noticed that
you're
too.
a
Right.
princess, and-
Right.
I noticed that too. They named a disease. I don't know what the disease is. It's probably an
Oh,
immunoemission disease.
I was
Yeah.
it was
It's
like
some
Mahler horse. And
But then
some
when
immune problem,
when
yeah.
she talks about it, she just says, "I have an immuno thing." That's it.
Yeah.
She doesn't name it again.
Right.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah, and
So-
for me, there's a thing. That horse kind of looks like a dog,
No, the horse kind of looks
and
like
I
a
distinctly remember the
Well,
fucking
no.
dogs from
No,
the
what
first
the
one.
horse
No, the
looks
horse
like
is a unicorn.
Is especially right after the morning after
Uh-huh.
he has sex with Mackenzie Davis,
Oh,
the
yeah.
hooker, is the shadow
Yeah.
of the horse adds, like the
Yeah.
ear turns into a unicorn
Yeah.
horn in the shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And then what did Edward James Olmos, Battlestar Galactica? What did he make?
He
the little
made a
origami.
sheep.
He made a
he
sheep.
made.
I thought it was a bull. I thought it was
Okay.
a bull.
No.
that
He
was
made
definitely
no.
a
He made a
sheep.
sheep because
And
his
that's-
origami things were from the original.
And that's a callback to the original book.
Yeah.
Because the title of the book is "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?"
Yeah.
Like those 20-year-olds in front of us were trying to come up with.
And
Right.
so in the original book, Deckard has a wife, and he talks about like, oh, I want to get her a sheep because I guess it's an important resource.
God, the book's so
Yeah.
different from the
And
any
then
of the
he
films.
pontificates. He's
Pretty
like,
much,
I
yeah.
wonder if replicants dream about buying their wives robotic sheep.
Hey, let's write a book.
Well, see, I
about that.
thought for me, I thought the horse kind of looked like a
Complicated, so
dog, kind of looked like a Doberman because
Yeah.
Tyrell had two fucking Dobermans
I-
when he first
That
met
horse had
Rachel.
no ass.
I could not
Yeah.
I could not
Yeah.
stop thinking about all the unicorns from the first one that
Yeah.
Ridley
Oh,
Scott
yeah, no, yeah, they were
shoved
unicorns.
in,
Which is
because
footage
the
from
studio
another Ridley Scott movie,
Right.
Legend.
Legend.
Yeah, yeah.
right exactly. But
Yeah.
Ridley Scott was like, put the unicorns in, make Deckard
And this
dream
little
of
girl's
unicorns.
obviously
And
the whole-
inexplicably, he
You-
dreams of unicorns.
okay,
This
so
mythical creature. He's the mythical creature.
Here's the whole hook for Deckard being a
That's
replicant
what I
from the
got.
director's cuts. We have the unicorn footage. I'm done. Fucking Adama makes a thing of a unicorn knowing, saying, I know what your memories and your dreams are. That makes you a fucking replicant. That's why I'm believing this at the end of the director's cut. It wasn't in the
Unicorns.
original. That's that whole hook.
Yeah, then that's where
Yeah.
and that's what I picked up from because I paid attention to the director, not
Yeah.
the
No, it's
studio
okay.
I'm gonna-
bigwigs at Warner Brothers back
I'm
in
going to take us in a slightly
1982.
different direction.
Rachel?
Sure.
So, Guy, you were hung up on one thing about the beginning being too convenient in terms of him seeing the
Two
thing.
things.
Maybe
Two things.
the other thing is what I'm about to say, which is
The flower on the tree.
okay. So it's kind of combined with that. So first of
Yeah.
all, what the hell is the flower?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why
I
is
don't
the tree
get it.
there?
And second of all,
If this is what you're
well,
doing, yeah.
no. So we never get a background as
I
to
think I got the
why.
flower. I think I got the flower.
Okay,
No,
but
what-
let
it
me.
shouldn't have been there.
No, I'm not gonna. I'll wait. I'll wait.
Except that the title card explains that ecosystems are dead. But
I know.
that's-
I know.
Anyway,
I know. That's why I think I
so-
get the flower. That's
But
why.
the thing for me that just seems a little too neat, because we have no explanation before the movie starts as to why Kay is hunting down this particular farmer who's an old
Yeah, it's
military
it doesn't
replicant.
seem to be the it seems to be the next job, but then it leads to our whole story.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have
How
done that. Yeah.
convenient that it's at
Yeah.
this guy's property under his tree.
Yeah, the first- yeah.
That Kay gets back out of his car to look at because there's a flower on the ground.
That was
Yeah.
this big, and how do you see it from that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
and
with
so
those
he
replicant
orders the
eyes.
drone
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
You know, scan to 30 feet maximum depth.
And that tree was held up with wires. He was being
Yeah,
kept
it was.
there.
Well, it was a dead. It was a
Well,
dead
see, now
tree.
you bumped it up to I need
It's
two
dead tree.
scenes.
Well, because nothing is supposedly growing. But
Right.
am I
And
the
a
only
dead thing can sit there.
right?
still
But
and
am
be
I
dead.
the only one who saw Wally here?
Well, yeah, no, that's what I was
That
thinking
was
when I saw the
right.
flower.
That was a
first.
flower. I'm like, wow, we found a threat to Jared Leto's business empire
Yeah, but
of
then that
synthetic
didn't go anywhere.
crops. No, it didn't. It didn't. Which I would have loved to have seen
Yeah,
it go
I would've-
someplace.
yeah.
But I think that was one of the reasons it was in there.
But maybe that's connected
It's a
to
sign
the rest
of-
of the plot, which is that
How did Jared Leto get rich? Synthetic
right,
crops.
and so maybe
what
it's
would threaten
connected
that?
to the whole plot of what would throw off all of this commerce based on using synthetic crops, using synthetic people, is
Real
if
shit.
they can start to replicate on their
If
own.
the Earth can actually start producing again,
Right.
Again,
Well,
Wally.
see, I view that as
oh, I'm gonna
simply
watch
as-
that movie again tonnite and cry at the end.
I view the flower as simply as something he saved up for because you can still get that shit as evidenced by the doctor.
Evidence by the doctor.
You have real wood. You can buy whatever you want. You can save
By
up-
the way, I
you
am
can
Captain
save up
Phillips
and-
guy.
Yeah,
I am always so
Yeah, but
glad
Captain
to see
Phillips
that guy in
guy
a movie.
seemed like he was selling. It seemed like he was selling snake oil.
Yeah.
I can get you
I
a
thought he
horse.
was
I can get
legit.
you a sheep. I can
I
get
loved
you
it.
that. I mean,
No,
It's
that was
also, I think that's a black market. You probably really could.
yeah.
and
That
plus,
was
he
that
was
was
a, yeah, I know, but he was also the same kind of black markety guy who would be like, "Oh, sucker, thanks for the money,
Yeah.
bang, you're dead."
Yeah.
You see, I don't know. I didn't trust that guy
Well,
in
I
Captain
think he-
Phillips.
I
didn't
think
trust
he said
this
that like
guy here.
the horse or the sheep he could get him would be a replicant horse. Like,
Oh, well,
he
there-
he
oh,
made
okay.
that clear.
Yeah.
He
Okay,
said
okay.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know from the original they make replicant owls and
They can,
replicant
they can make
snakes. and-
replicant animals.
But see,
Is
that's
Oh, is that
why-
real? Is that real snake skin? No, of course
that a
not.
real snake?
Is that real snake? No. You think I'm rich enough to afford a real snake?
That's
you think
why
if
it's
I
got
could
this
afford a
like.
real snake, I'd be
Oh, I'd
working
be doing
here.
this. Thank you. Yes.
That's why it's got this
in the
twisting
Indian
thing. Like they're becoming more human because they're sentimental, but they should know better. Just period. Don't fucking do that. I'd almost have to say because why is the fucking tree there? It's a fucking marker. I know it's dead in
Yeah.
some sentiment for posterity, but he lives out there by himself.
Yeah.
I understand that, but don't put a fucking
it's
flower.
got
don't put a
6, 20, 21
fucking.
in it.
So
Don't put
small.
a-
It's not like it was a bouquet with ribbons. on
Don't
it
put
that
a
says, "Get well
bullseye.
soon."
Yeah,
It
I
was
know.
this fucking
See,
big.
that's what I was saying. His eyesight is really good. He spotted that flower from like
Yeah.
a mile away, and that's how he could then see.
Well,
the
it's on
little-
the surface though.
Yeah, but he could see
But
the
still,
FAA
it
N
was-
number on the
Well,
inside of her thigh.
Yes and no.
I know.
Yes and
Don't
no,
worry
because
about
like I said, the numbers behind other things get
Yeah.
deeper and deeper. It's not just kind of
it. Well, it's like those
hanging
Mickey
out
Mouse
right
loaves
there,
of bread.
dig
You know,
here.
it's all like baked into it. you
yeah,
know?
30 years ago, there wasn't that much dirt there.
yeah.
I just kept thinking about how old Edward J. Almost.
Well, he was.
Am I actually
Harrison-
older than his character
Well,
in this movie?
he was Harrison Ford's partner.
Yeah.
Okay, but I was like, okay,
So,
if it's
we had to-
Oh, I think
2049,
She never saw
partners,
the
they
film.
worked in the same office.
if it's
Because he made a
2049,
point to
No,
say
no,
we
he's
like to work
49.
alone.
He said we like to work
Probably at
alone.
least
That's why we work so
69,
well
Which
together.
means
Yeah.
I'm still older
Is
than
that because we both like to work alone? Like
We're
we
older
were
than everybody that was in
partners,
that.
but not really.
Oh, yeah, it's set in the
We're
future.
partners that never
No, but
partnered.
that's what I'm saying.
Like
It's
on
not-
paper, we're partners, but in reality, he does his thing, I do
In
my
reality,
thing.
we're watching
And then I
people do it.
constantly tease him. When I think he's a coward, I make an origami chicken. I love that.
I know.
I love that. Every time he thinks that Harrison Ford's a coward, he made an origami chicken.
So I have to
So is
ask
the
you.
sheep like you're
And they
just
made
like
the
the rest
sheep.
of them?
That's what I thought at
Can I get
first.
another,
Yeah, and then obviously it has the connection to the electric sheep.
That's what I was going with too. That's why I made the sheep.
But yeah, I thought that like you're just like the rest of them.
You're a sheep.
That was what I
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what I pulled for because he was taunting Harrison Ford the
Well,
entire
so-
first movie with the little grummy like, "Oh, you're a coward. Here's a chicken.
So was the sheep for?
Oh, you're attracted
I
to
think
her.
it's both.
Here's
I
a
think it's
guy
both.
with a big boner." He made a little origami guy.
Oh yeah.
With a boner.
What was the
because
sheep?
he figured out, oh, you're attracted to the replicant. Here's you with a boner.
So was the sheep for?
I think that was
People
for,
have done this before, and I'm tired of this,
I
or
think that was
you're
for-
not going to be able to figure it out.
I think that was for Ryan Gosling.
No, I think
No,
it
it
was
was,
more like
but-
you're just one of the crowd.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're just one
Okay.
more of these slave
You're not
replicants
getting
that
it.
Jared
You're not
Leto
seeing it.
created. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
Or it was a dream.
We're all a dream of a turtle flying through the universe. I was sold into the middle of the movie where they kind of give you the half reveal, like maybe Ryan Gosling is the child the whole time,
Yeah.
Right.
and he's searching for himself.
Yeah.
I was kind of sold on that.
Oh, I was
and
completely
you know
sold.
what?
I was completely sold. 100%.
I didn't put the callback together with the artist puts everything of themselves.
No, I
Yeah.
jumped right
heard
in
of the-
because I wanted to be
I was
wrong.
thinking with the dream girl or the memory girl, it was the artist put something that they've heard or that they didn't come up with entirely
Right.
100%
Not that
creatively.
they would put all of their...
Not that it was actually her.
And put a little
I didn't
a
get
little
that.
Something would be like, I put a girl that looked like me at this party.
Right.
I've blown
Yeah.
out birthday
Yeah.
candles,
Right.
and that was the
Yeah.
party.
Why?
Not, here are my memories.
Why? Because
put
I
them in another
I
place.
did meet the actual child, and they did tell, and that child did tell me about the little wooden horse with the 6, 10, 21 on the bottom of it. So I put it in a memory.
Well, see,
that's why Ryan
here's-
Gosling has. That's what I thought. I didn't know it was actually her.
Well,
No,
that would
here-
make me think that she knows who she is, and that's why she got...
No,
And
no.
here,
Get rid
no,
of her
no.
memory.
This is what I liked
I'm
about
not sure
that.
she knew who she is.
Because when she said that at the very end of the movie, he says she has all the best memories,
Yeah,
which
'cause
makes me think
they're all hers.
this is all part of a bigger thing where
So,
multiple replicants have her memories,
I think
but it's
so.
their lives and the way they interact with things
She's
that
got,
might
but,
lead
but,
them
but
to.
Here's
she's,
another
she's got the
question.
originals because it was her memories.
Yeah,
Well,
but no, it's
I actually have
it's
a
like
different take on
yeah.
that, and I have a question. and I could be totally off here, and I'm curious to hear what other people think.
Yeah.
You have
So when she puts one of her memories into a replicant, does she lose that memory?
No, it's a copy.
Okay,
I think
so
it's a copy.
Yeah.
Because if she's like a real person,
Yeah.
they would
Well,
say, she's the artist.
Yeah.
Although I am
Yeah.
remembering
I don't know if
Philip
she's a real
K. Dick's-
person.
Is it a Philip K? I can
Yeah.
remember. I can remember it for you wholesale.
Yeah.
I think it's one
Oh,
of his.
yeah.
No, there's a lot of Philip K. Dick stories.
Yeah.
I
Well,
kept
see,
thinking-
that's the thing. I think that she's straight up saying, he hasn't bought me out. I'm a subcontractor. I create the memories. So these memories are in multiple, if not all replicants, not the memory of the horse.
Right.
Maybe all Blade Runners, maybe all military grade. I can break through a fucking brick wall.
Right.
Get that? So they'll come around and they'll be part of the risk. It's that
Yeah.
loose conspiracy theory that's actually true, but it's hidden inside of the memories. Like something so traumatic and so important that you will never forget it.
Or maybe, I think it's something along the lines of like, I don't know, I think if I had a childhood memory of hiding something that was really important to me and never being able to go back and get it, and I had the opportunity to put my memory into a bunch of different people, I would load that one into a lot of people on the off chance that one of them might go back and get it for me.
Yeah.
Or something genuine coming out through the noise is a
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It's
that
like,
too, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's like I sort of feel like if it's if it was like an important childhood memory, you would either keep it to yourself or unintentionally pass it on.
Yeah, that too. I'm gonna go grab a drink. Does anybody want anything?
I'm good.
No, I'm good.
Sweet, because I don't have that much cash.
What made me wonder
Yeah.
was he's lying on the steps
Yeah.
in the snow.
Yeah.
Harrison walks in, and she's playing with snow. Is it happening at the same time, or
I
did it
was
just
wondering
happen
the
to be?
same
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good one.
Is she somehow sharing Gosling's?
That she put that
Awareness.
much of herself, and what? Maybe they are twins. Maybe they are twins, and they
In some
because all
way.
they did.
Maybe
all they did
he
was,
has
oh,
her
the girl's
DNA.
dead. The girl is dead, but they really were because they're like, how?
Yeah,
that's impossible.
but-
They have the same DNA.
yeah.
I'm all no twins. It's called twins.
Well, but male
but-
and
And
female.
Yeah, but
you know
there's
what?
a-
You know what?
Okay.
If you have twins, you have to have a C-section a lot of times.
But there's that one woman in the replicant resistance, wherever that is,
Right.
who says, I was there at her birth, not their birth.
That's true.
I saw her come out. She didn't say I saw they came out. There's two of them. She said there's one. She always mentioned a singular. There's
also,
one.
I will say-
and you know what? The swapping of the DNA male to female thing, that they do kind of explain that, and they're like, listen, they're trying to hide the gender to keep this child safe.
So they made
hide
him
the gender.
So they just created his account.
Right,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I buy that. I buy that a hell of a lot more than I buy the replicant rebellion woman just lying randomly to Ryan Gosling because there's no motive to lie to him because she wants him to come on board. Why wouldn't she spill the beans and say, "Oh, there was two. You're one of them"?
Right.
So
Why wouldn't she do?
Also, I'll say that
why wouldn't she? Why wouldn't she
the
say it?
Ryan Gosling death, I think that was like the only part of the movie that really moved me. And I think kind of because it was sort of like, I don't want to quite say aping, but the whole I've seen things you wouldn't believe. Or,
You mean from Rory from the original?
yeah.
You
the
said
original-
I've seen things
Yeah,
you
because-
humans would never believe.
Same music.
Because he did. He
Yeah,
did.
that music was kind of a trigger.
Yeah.
Off the shoulder of her
A
eye.
little bit.
What was
yeah.
the deal with
I
the
could see
music
that.
from Peter and the Wolf?
I'm wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The music. Dun, dun, dun,
I pointed that out to you. His
I'm like, that's
ring,
Oh,
the
yes,
thing that's
yeah.
with joy. Peter in the
I'm
Wolf.
glad you
What's the
enjoy our
significance of
product.
that?
Yeah, I'm
Well-
curious about that too, and I haven't quite figured. I think I
It was
need
kind
to
of a
think
weird.
about that.
It was
more.
kind of a weird.
So
range.
there
We should
were.
revisit the story and what the hell
Well,
happened
Peter and the
in that
Wolf is
story.
about somebody who lies about what's going on so much they get burned for
Is
it.
it Pe-
So
the boy that cried
No, you're
wolf?
thinking
That's
of the
the
boy
boy
who cried
That's the
wolf.
boy.
Peter and the
Pride.
Wolf has the fake gun, and he's hunting,
Right.
and then the wolf comes out. Right.
Right.
There's a whole. It's
Yeah.
Croquia. There's a whole bunch of themes for each
All
animal.
of each animal has their own instrument.
And he's got the duck. He's got the
Maybe this
all
whole
these.
So
movie.
what's the
Peter
basic
and the
just
Wolf.
Peter and the Wolf then?
In some ways,
He's just a little boy who's a flight of fantasy. He's got a toy gun.
And
At
it
least
made me
the Disney
I don't know if you
cartoon
watched
has
the
like
So
a
it's
cat.
somebody that can do whatever
TV
they
show?
want?
He's
But
cruising
this
around in the forest, and then a
most
wolf comes to
recent
attack
season,
him.
there was an
and he
entire
has to defend
episode
it.
that was
A
built
woodsman
around
comes out
Peter
and
and the
kills
Wolf, with Billy Bob Thornton, who's in the first season, narrating, and each of the characters in this season of Fargo took on a role in Peter and the Wolf.
Wait, what season of Fargo?
What?
What season of Fargo?
2 is
recent
when it was in it, but the most recent one.
And so there was a whole Peter and the Wolf
That was 3.
episode, and so that was why I recognized it right away, because we've seen that so recently. But yeah, I'm
Alright,
still trying to figure that out.
Confession time. I thought it was Nutcracker.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Wait, confession time. I had no idea what it was. So
Okay, confession time. I thought I forgot to turn my cell phones off in the theater.
Confession time. It pissed me off that they didn't finish the
Yes.
measure.
Agreed.
It was just the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like
They do
shave
that to
and
make
haircut,
attention.
But you know what?
and then not 2 bits.
That's like a common thing, though, in like all these like if you think cyberpunk, neo noir, or whatever.
Sure.
Ghost in the Shell. There's a whole beginning scene when the robots go crazy and stuff. Well, he does the like transfer thing, and I don't know if anyone caught it. I happened to be obsessed with it at the time. There's an old French song, Au clair de la luna, mon ami, and that's what he does. He does this mental transfer, and it's Au clair de la luna. But I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. There's another one called the 20,000 Hertz, and sorry, buzz marketing, but they do a lot of stuff. And they talk about earliest recordings and whatnot. And if you think about earliest recordings, some of them were like the Clair de Lune is actually one of the first earliest. I mean, that's not the song, but like songs sung by people, like especially traditional older ones.
Okay.
Are. So I thought there was like a little bit of a turn, like kind of it's become a trope. Even 2001: Space Odyssey. Alan Turing is the one who programmed the first computer sound to do the Daisy Daisy, how do I love you, dude? And then they
Give me
put
your
that,
answer true.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
but that's all like it's just become this trope. So I don't read a whole lot into it actually, the Prokia, to be honest. But I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I just thought it was flashy, and Denis Villeneuve being him.
Yeah, being him, he would go for something that's extra obscure and interesting, because I know he wants to be sitting at a cocktail party. And be like, where I got that.
And you know what he would tell you? He'd tell you something that I do not know, but someone in 3rd grade told me that Peter and the Wolf was Hitler's favorite piece. He probably said,
It all comes back to Hitler.
Not
Oh,
something
it's
Wagner.
always
comes
Hitler.
back.
It's always
doubt
Hitler.
it, to be honest. but-
I feel like Hitler was a Wagner fan.
well, he certainly was.
Yeah. Anyway,
I can
way
really-
off target.
Wait,
Sorry,
stay
I
on
can
target.
really see
Our
Hitler.
mantra.
Way off target.
Our
Way
mantra.
Stay on target.
Stay on
So
target.
there were a couple of, I guess we'll call them literary, well, one biblical and one literary
Oh, the
callback
biblical one, yeah.
that I noticed. So the biblical one was one that I caught right away,
You
and
pulled
that
from the Old Testament.
and that totally was part of what totally sold me on Ryan Gosling is Deckard and Rachel's kid, which is so, the mother we know, her name is Rachel. And Joy, his cyber girlfriend, at one point tells him, I know you're special. In fact, I think you deserve a name, and I think your name should be
Joseph.
As in
And then
Joseph.
we later hear, and I can't remember if it's Jared Leto or Love, set
I think it was Love.
calls
I think it was
to the
Love.
Old Testament quote from when, and the Lord loved Rachel so much that he opened her womb.
Right.
And who does...
Just go. Just keep going. Don't worry about it.
Joseph
And
is the favorite son.
Well, he's not. He's the favorite son because he's Rachel's first son.
Exactly.
Oh,
Leah
wedding
has
party
a
is
bunch
here.
of sons.
Don't worry about it.
Interesting.
So that was one. That was what totally sold me on
what
him
was-
being the kid.
What was weird about that was your name's Joe. You're better than K, and the alphabet goes J. Does it go JK?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, JK.
So
No,
Elemental
it's
B.
honestly, my
no,
thought-
it's a step up in the alphabet,
yeah,
so it's a step better for the
My thought-
primitive mind
my
that's
thought was
completely
like,
pre-programmed. Yeah.
K's a good name.
So the
Pinocchio, you're a real boy now.
Yeah.
I caught
yeah,
that
that's it.
too. But then the literary one that interested me, and I'm still not sure what they were aiming for with it. So towards the end, when he's encountered, I think it was at this point when he finds, the replicant rebellion, and the woman says, "Oh, you thought it was you."
We all
We all did, of course. Like, we all have had that fantasy that we were all, and she uses the phrase "of woman born."
Oh, like she said, like the chick joy.
Which is a really interesting phrase in the context of this for a number of reasons. Well, mostly. So
Macbeth?
Yes.
Ah.
So in Macbeth, the
Manor
whole
Born?
thing is Macbeth is told by the witches Macbeth doesn't have to fear any man of woman born, which he takes to mean that I don't have to fear anybody because every man is of woman born.
But Macduff
But
was
then-
from his mother's womb
Right.
Finally ripped
Right.
in the cesarean section.
It's always got
So
to come back to the
even
C-section.
this kid, who is Rachel and Deckard's kid, is not, in that sense, of woman born because she was born by a C-section.
And to make a unicorn connection is that's the national animal of Scotland.
It's true.
So
That is
perhaps
true.
Deckard. No, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know where to go with that.
No, I was being
No,
dumb.
okay, what
We-
about
we are-
what about the line where he says he wants to create enough angels to retake Eden?
Yeah.
What
I
about
don't know
that
what
one?
to do with that.
Does
And
that
I'm just
make
kinda
him
like
the
this-
devil? And snakes talks and snakes and shit.
Yeah, and
Does that make
the
him the
snakes
devil?
are in the first one, but that's a
Maybe?
weird thing. But it's like, and I
he's
want to make
blind?
enough
Is he
angels
the
to
fallen
retake Eden. So does that mean he wants everybody to be a fucking
Sounds like it.
replicant born,
I
and there's
think
only
so.
a scant few humans?
I
But
thought that
then
was some
he's
crazy
thinking of
Prometheus
himself
shit.
as
Because the
God.
replicants can be completely controlled and are completely obedient. So if you
Well,
tell them
and-
don't fuck up the earth, they
and
won't
that's-
fuck up the earth.
Well, and that's an interest because in biblical fandom, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
God gives humans free will, but angels don't have free
Yeah,
will.
Right.
and his angels
Until
don't have free will.
Loki.
No, Loki's not a.
No, the devil,
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Well, one of them said, "Fuck you, God," and I'm out.
Lucifer.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Lucifer.
yeah.
Loki's
That's so
Norse,
loose, though.
goddammit.
It just depends
no,
on
it's
what
fine.
translation
The
you're
fish,
reading.
Yeah.
when he talks about the fish, so that one
Yeah.
always jumps.
Fish.
Never
Yeah.
thinking about
Oh.
what would
yeah.
happen if it got on land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, first of all, is that a fish or is that one of those little robot things that's into the water? But what's in this water and what's the deal with? You never see the sun. You never and the shadows are always changing. What's
Yes,
fucking
the
deal
shadows
with
are
that?
always
It's
changing
always
in that
water.
scene. And
Well, it's,
why?
the light- the
why,
light-
Jared
the
Leto? Why
light-
do you have to entertain guests on this little deck in the
And is
middle
he
of a
walking
pool?
on water out there?
A
Well, I'll
pool
say- I'll
where
say
your
this,
light
in the-
is filtered
as
to look like
because
waves.
art and it looks really
Because
fucking
he's
good
a
and
pimp.
mysterious.
It was the Aztec
How
Temple
does he
level
know
of
what it
James
looks
Bond
like?
GoldenEye.
He's got his little.
Don't know that, but I got that.
He's got his little drones flying around, and he
Yeah.
knows it's got to look pimp.
It was the temple. The temple of
Anyway,
GoldenEye.
we
that's
are
all.
about to be overrun by a wedding party.
Do we want to
Just
do?
offloaded.
I
So-
feel like now's a good time to just.
I know.
Do you want to skip up to rewrites?
Did you like? No. Did you like the movie? 'Cause
I like
we're,
it.
Yeah,
We're,
yeah.
we're going to be in a position where we're going to be
It's like,
overrun.
I liked it. I'm not sure if I'd rewatch it.
I would definitely rewatch it.
I've
I
seen
would
it
rewatch
three.
it
I've seen it
more
3
times.
times
I
because
missed
there's
some stuff dozing off.
every
Because of
time
all
there's
of
more
this
to
little
unpack.
stuff. I'm gonna go in and
it's
looking
like
for
there's-
Yeah, I
it's okay.
I missed so many stuff.
I-
I got to rewatch it.
I liked it. I feel I missed some stuff, but I don't quite feel the need to really figure out.
Okay. Okay.
I think I got to rewatch it. There's so much
Elvis
material.
is the
in
key
it.
to all.
It made me want
Yes.
to. It made me want to.
Frank
The
Sinatra.
power.
Sinatra.
The
I,
power of falling in love with
Liberace
you.
and the chandelier that was crashed
Liberace.
and
I-
Phantom of the Opera. I don't know.
It made me want to really revisit a lot of both. Obviously, there's always the angle of Alien being in the same universe. So I wanted to look at some of that, but I also want to rewatch Blade Runner and see this one again.
Yeah.
But it also made me want to revisit a lot of the genre stuff too, like just some noir, just some. I want to see the Maltese Falcon set in space now,
Okay. So
I would watch that.
right?
Yeah.
I would watch the shit out of that.
I'm saying let's see it again.
Do
Definitely see
Sunset
it.
Boulevard first.
See it more than once.
My favorite. If we're going that route, Sunset Boulevard. That's
There's a lot to unpack here. I want to skip up to the rewrites because we're all agreed to see it again because it's good.
I'd make it shorter.
No, I'm saying keep going.
I would cut out some of the amazing, drawn out. Look how beautiful this
I
desert
would
is. Look how
too.
beautiful this building is. If you cut those down a little bit, you could get this thing down to 2.5 hours.
Guy, you said there were 2 scenes in particular you wanted. What were those?
I wanted another scene in the interim where he goes and hunts down what we find out is later people that are part of the group that hit him. So that, and they're completely fucking mundane.
Okay.
I would even I would go for one at the beginning. He goes and hunts. I got him, boss. They're done. Then he comes on Batista.
Okay.
Then later on, I'd almost say skip the sex scene because that was cool, but it was.
Oh, I like that.
I really
okay.
like
I saw Ghost.
that. Was cool, right?
No, I'd say
That
okay.
was really cool.
I'd say
I like
cut
the
it.
sex
I'd
scene.
say cut it down and sync them up just like a little bit better.
No, I like the. I like
by
the.
the way,
I like
no, but
Addison,
No,
yeah, that was
no,
cool.
no,
That was cool.
No,
that was awesome.
No. I'd say sync them up a little bit better so you still get that blur, but it's not.
No, I like that they were
What's
fucked up
it- what's a better way to say it?
No, because they do sync up a lot better right at the end.
They do.
They're like in perfect sync.
But
Yeah,
sync it up a little bit
I
better
like
so
that.
you can shorten it. I did like how they cut to the. This is all completely fucking meaningless. Instead of showing the sex, I love that. That was great. And I did love the fire crackling in the middle of anywhere. And now we're inside of the city with that same chick from the beginning when she goes out on the patio for the first time with the fucking eyes looking that reinforce the you bought our shit so we know where you are.
The giant Burning Man statues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never ending
But
story.
like I would say we'll add 2 scenes. At the beginning it's mundane, he goes and kills one. Then later on, he goes and kills in the middle of all of that.
There you go. There we go.
In the middle of all that, he goes and kills another one. But after everything we've seen, there's a little bit of hesitation.
Oh, right.
Just a little.
Just enough.
He has the same conversation, this and all that. He's fighting him, and he doesn't say "don't get up," or he's like, there's a little hesitation with the gun. I would even go for a callback where he slaps the gun out of his hand, but dude, Ryan Gosling is a fucking Ghost in the Shell robot.
Yeah.
Fucking straight up. He probably weighs 200 or 300 pounds, maybe 400 or 500. Bursts through a fucking brick wall, doesn't give a fuck. Gets stabbed in the side, none of that matters. Have that happen, but there's like a little bit of hesitation because he knows he's going to be able to do his job. But you have that hesitation to show because you can see it like. I'll honestly say this: see it at least 3 or 4 times. I'm going to go maybe 4 or 5. Because there's so much to unpack in his
so
performance.
much in this.
Yeah,
I would have liked to
there's
see.
so much there.
I would
Yeah.
have liked to see at least a glimpse of the colonies off-world. At least a glimpse.
Yeah.
They build it up
Or
in
at
the
least
first
a
one.
reference to what happens there.
Yeah, they
Well, see,
really
I'd
build
say-
it because there's no offset as to look how bad Earth is. Look how bad Earth is. Look how bad. That's the first 2 movies. Look how bad Earth is. Look how bad Earth is.
No, there is a
the
movie.
Three Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch. That's
No, I
pretty
wanna
much
see-
where they peeled it from.
I know,
No, there is
but I want to see it on the screen. If it ain't on this, it's like Star Wars.
No, there
People
is a
start
movie.
quoting the
There is a
books and
movie,
shit,
John.
fan fiction. I say no, fuck that.
John,
gotta
there
see
is
it in
a
the
movie.
theater.
No,
Gotta
the
see it in
Three
the
Stigmata of
I,
Palmer
I
Eldritch.
want to see the next Blade Runner movie in which they explore the off-world
No,
colonies.
Oh, that's Alien.
No,
No,
it's not.
no,
No, it's
no.
not. No, it's not. No, there is a movie.
Guy is trying to explain
There's a
there are
movie
filler Blade
with
Runner
Sean
movies.
Connery from the 80s called Outland.
Is that
About
is
human?
It,
No,
is
it's
it a
about
Blade Runner movie?
It's about human colonies off-world, where all of a sudden certain people start losing their
Who
shit
directed
and
it?
killing each other. I don't know. It doesn't
If
matter.
it's not Ridley Scott, it does matter because
No,
then
it
it's
doesn't.
not this.
It's
Okay,
an.
but I did-
It's an.
No,
it's
because I
a-
could say,
no,
go
no.
watch The New World with Colin Farrell. Look, that's people in a new world, and they're doing a new colony.
But I
And
did-
totally different, though.
I'll tell you, it'll
No,
fit.
I get
It'll
it.
fit in the aesthetic and the
I
feeling.
get it, but it's not
It
the
doesn't
same
matter
thing.
that it was never written to be that.
It's like
this is
saying-
that movie because that movie will never get made.
Listen,
it
wa-
already was.
Watch A New Hope.
Rachel.
You can skip Empire. Just watch
Rachel.
Godfather 2, and then you can watch Return of the Jedi.
John, take
no,
a breath.
no.
Take
Guy,
a-
stop interrupting me when
Take
I'm
a breath.
You take a breath. So I'd like to see more of the off-world colonies. I'd like to see that in a Blade Runner movie. Because every other movie doesn't necessarily, even though it syncs up a little bit, Yes, sweetheart.
What I'm trying to say is that what I read on IMDb earlier today is that there actually are some animated in-between movies that are officially Blade Runner movies.
Awesome.
And I believe one of them
Thanks for
does
coming to
actually deal with stuff that happens off.
Awesome. Those I will watch. The one with Sean Connery with the different characters, different storyline.
Three
no
Stigmata of Palmer Eldritch. It's never going to get made into a film. I recommend it.
All right.
Who's it by?
It's Philip K. Dick.
Oh, okay.
It's fantastic.
Does that have replicants?
So
in
it's the
it?
actual overall writer.
Say again?
It's
Well,
the actual
probably not, 'cause
overall
Philip K.
writer
Dick
of the
never
story
used
ideas.
The word replicants.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Never
There
used
you
the
go.
word replicants.
What's the deal with the
I would like to
questions
see
they give
that
him when he
movie.
comes back?
It's
That
it's
they're-
about
I
a
was
lot of
wondering the same thing.
psychedelic
That
drug use.
baseline test.
I would definitely,
So-
I would definitely like to see that.
That was
And
great.
like,
Elon
I think
Musk
what that's
kinda
about
character.
is they want to get a
Coming from deep
robotic
space,
reaction
Then
from it.
I want to
They
see it.
don't
The
want to get a
substitute, here's
human
another
reaction.
storyline that shows another
Because
colony.
Because
I'm not
the
interested
human
in it.
reaction is
I-
to respond to
yeah.
what the actual
Global
question
warming
is,
has ruined the
whereas the robotic
Yeah,
reaction
UN
is
is
just
sending
to
people to
say
Mars.
the word he's
Yeah, I know,
supposed to say.
but
Doesn't
there's,
that prove
there's no replicants,
that
there's no Deckard, there's,
the
it's not the same
replicants are
storyline. It's
evolving
like
and
saying,
they're
don't
Yes,
watch
getting
are,
Godfather
as
2,
they
watch
say,
Goodfellas.
more human than human.
They're getting
No,
rid of
it's
the
not,
ones.
you know.
Yes.
He pulled this,
Yeah.
a lot of the settings.
That's
It's
true.
just the actual
I hear you
humans
there.
are
I
scared of
wanna
the ones
see
that can do
another
that,
movie,
and
though.
they're getting rid of them.
Right.
Like he was going
Because
through with
that's
his
happening
rewrites.
more and
I
more.
want to see
So
Is
those
when they
scenes
hear a
added
question
to
like,
this movie.
"What does it feel like to be away from a loved one?"
The filler of, oh, they
and your
did it on
response
this
should
movie.
immediately be
No, I
self.
wanna see it in
But
this
if you're
movie.
starting to be a little
That's
more
the
human, you
rewrite
might
part.
pause before thinking about what it feels like to be separated from a loved one before you
Right.
just automatically say cells.
So they're definitely having kids. They just need to have kids with like the right. Maybe it's that they need to have a kid with a human, and because they're not attracted to them, it has to be a really weird thing that lines up to make it happen.
Or maybe the reason that she has a compromised immune system is because she's half and half.
Right.
And if it was the child of two replicants, that actually would have a complete immune system.
That could be.
Yeah,
Or
that's,
none at
that's
all.
why there's so much
Or
to
none at
unpack
all.
in this movie.
Well, or not at all, but so
I know, that's why we can't
when
keep
you think
going
about,
on and
for
on.
instance,
We go on
animals
and
like
on for 6 hours.
mules
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
crossbreeds,
Right.
they can be created between a donkey and a horse, but one thing about them is they're always sterile.
Yeah, yeah.
What if, when a human and a replicant reproduce, they can create a baby, but the baby is always going to be compromised in some way? In the
Right.
case of her, she has a faulty immune system. She has to be living in a bubble.
So we would, instead of replicants taking over or people taking over, we'd have to live together.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Which
about
is
with the
what's
wall.
so threatening
Yeah.
to the human.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Human DNA is 95% virus. It's stuff that we've accumulated over eons of evolution. We've just, that actually works to like help me not die because of this thing.
Yeah, it's,
go-
it's
now
how
we're
when
getting
we're
into
born, we
Ghost in
don't
the Shell.
immediately die.
I'll give you a high five.
But we're
on that.
making we're making
Oh, good.
robots. That's our own weird template.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
GeoCities.dna.
yeah.
Love that.
Like
Yeah,
that.
those interviews just.
I'd
I
buy a
this
domain
is a
name on
mammoth
that.
play. This is a mammoth play. We're just gonna repeat shit over and over again. It's a mammoth play.
So, do you guys have any other rewrites? Because I like mine. I think you like them too.
I like mine.
What's yours?
Just make it a little.
Oh, we
Yeah,
also
you
quoted
all
Treasure
signed
Island.
in
Why
on
did you
it,
quote
but you
Treasure
all gave me
Island?
other movies.
What?
Now
Why did
show
you
the
quote
off
Treasure
Alpha
Island?
colonies.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea.
Everybody else had an
Also,
opinion about
I would
another
like a
movie
better
to watch.
explanation
No, in this
about the
movie.
bees.
Yeah, what's the deal with the bees?
Ah,
He's
the
growing his
bees.
own food. That's the only way to
That's what he
pollinate
was doing, yeah.
Well, and pollinating.
That means
Yeah.
there's plants.
Means
It's
creating
Dune.
plants.
It's Dune.
it. Yeah. Oh.
You can do the Kessel Run and smoke parsecs.
Basically,
Well, he's Dune.
my
He's directing the next Dune.
Yeah. What's your rewrite,
My
Steven?
rewrite, it would be like, I think I would maybe hold off a little bit, revealing that he's a replicant. Like maybe like.
So,
and
like less office visits
and so it's like he's like going through his like daily routine. He has his, and then I think maybe it's like I'd start like right with his. Introduce the robot, the projection wife, and then have that weird her scene.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to find Harrison Ford. He's trying.
Oh, it starts with that, and everything else he does is just a side thing.
Yeah,
I can see that.
That would be good too. Yeah.
It is Harrison Ford that will reveal. It's like there's at the final showdown at the beginning of at the end of like the third act. It's like, holy shit, you're a replicant, and then it's like, why everyone hates him at the office and like all these like subtle little signs, and then
would you keep the twist where we think halfway through the movie we think he's a kid? Because if that's true, that means he's at least half replicant.
Yeah, and then so and
I'm asking a question, guys. Stop.
So then Ryan Gosling, I think pretty soon figures out, oh my gosh, I'm his son. And then so it's like they're teaming up.
Okay.
And then there's.
Why would he be looking for Harrison Ford in this version?
Because Harrison Ford was the greatest Blade Runner of all time.
Conspiracy.
Because Claire Underwood told him.
They want, because Claire Underwood
told him
some conspiracy bullshit. I'm too drunk to figure out the specific plan.
We all are. That's the point.
But
You got to rewrite Murphy.
Yeah.
That's why we do it at a bar.
I'd remove the weird replicant terrorist group, or I hate that they all show up and like, you got to join us, blah blah blah. You know what? They appeared randomly 2.5 hours in. If you're gonna have them in there, set the tone with them. Maybe an explosion, maybe some weird.
They're over here. They're over there. Yeah.
You know what? I love that it's like Neo LA, and they shit all over San Diego. Cool, but you know what? I like the idea if he's hunting down the other replicants, road trip.
Yeah, show him doing that.
Go up the Central Valley where there's all this shit, these stupid signs that are still there now. They're taking our water, blah, 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 you know? And then maybe that's where the resistance movement. I don't want to talk to any of them. I want to maybe see them off to the side and they blow some shit up. You know what? I'm sick of resistance movement things. That's young adult shit.
Yeah.
Whatever. If I want it,
how come there wasn't a dozen teenagers trying to kill each other?
They all had to be there and walk in the water so you could hear. Oh, I hear a whole bunch of sounds.
He
I
could have
will
figured
say
it out
this:
through the library.
I did like that this movie completely stole from Tremors. Completely stole from Tremors because a bunch of shit happens in the scene and it kind of peters out. It's kind of quiet, and then the next scene, a bunch of times. Boom! A whole bunch of fucking noise, a whole bunch of shit's going on. Exactly like Tremors, which...
My goddamn plan!
Yeah. You got to rewrite?
No.
Nothing?
No, she's good. She's got to see the first one.
Pretty much.
Rachel did hers.
What? Didn't?
I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was long, but there were the sex. I was like, okay, no. I know this will be the one thing that is gratuitous and doesn't do anything for the plot, but otherwise, I didn't feel it was even Drive.
Yeah, Drive.
Haven't seen
That
it.
was
A lot of
Gosling.
people.
This
were,
is my first Ryan Gosling movie. Yeah.
I saw Drive.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I was saying Drive is one of my favorite all-time performances.
It's amazing, and the idiots don't get it. But that was slow. It felt slow.
It's the
but
music.
I understood why.
It's the music. They
but
draw out the music.
This
a lot.
didn't feel like calm the fuck on. Let's go on with it. And maybe it's because I'm looking everywhere at everything.
Yeah,
and everything's beautiful. And what's the significance of all this?
Too much to unpack.
Huh?
Too much to dive into. Too much to unpack.
Yeah, there was just. It didn't. Yeah.
Like every frame
It was
had like a
entertaining.
million.
It was
Yeah.
entertaining whether it was somebody talking or not, or like
Yeah.
there was just a lot to take in and think about. This is the future, and what the future really look like.
I had a little problem with the music.
Yeah.
The trumpet blast from Arrival.
Well, no, it was like,
The big horn
this is
blast.
really fucking exciting music. He's fucking getting out of his car and going to his house. Fuck. This is really fucking exciting music. He's walking to his house. Fuck. Okay.
They gotta liven up that scene. See?
Yeah, they have to. It's because they have these slow
I
in
was
between
kind of over
shots.
the Tuvan throat singing and the whale noises.
Right, the whale.
Yeah.
I love
yeah.
that.
Arrival is shorter. Let's rewatch Arrival.
I actually haven't ever seen it, so
It's good.
It's same director.
But,
Yeah, it's really
whoa,
good.
let's finish this.
Yeah.
Arrival's kind of purposely disappointing in a good way
But
because
before
it's
the bride and groom
intellectual.
come in, we'll finish it up.
Yeah.
Before the bride and groom come in, because the wedding party, the party bus dropped off. They're all getting drinks right now. I don't know when they're going to come out here.
Any moment.
So we decided, see it.
Yeah, see it. And I'll say this, caveat to Artie, we're trying to speed this up. We all have a lot more to say because people are
that's
supposed to be coming in.
Sorry, Erwin fan.
Let's
Sorry,
let's
Ernie.
revisit this again and
And,
talk more about it.
And I'll go with, do we want to keep going and just keep going until they show up?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay.
I'd
All right.
rather we be able to actually wrap it up than
Put all
just-
your ahead instead of being forced
All
off
right.
the air.
Plus, we're going to be out of town next week. Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed it. I think it's fun. There's a lot to think about.
Yeah, definitely
A lot to
watch
think about. Conspiracy theories, that's always fun.
Just drink
Yeah.
some coffee before you go.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
God, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you get high before this movie, you're fucked.
Yeah, don't do that.
You're
Do
going to
some
miss
blow.
all kinds of
Do
shit.
some
I
blow,
mean,
but
it's
sit
literally, and I'm glad it's time, it's art house fucking blockbuster.
It's an
Yeah,
art house
yeah.
sci-fi movie.
Yeah, and
but
it's a fucking
I can make the
blockbuster.
case
It's
about
fantastic.
Arrival that it was an art house sci-fi movie, which kind of was. Same director. He's known for his art house stuff. But yeah, no, I like that a lot.
It's completely art house
It's
blockbuster
very art
because
house.
it's fantastic. Dude, the theater was packed at
Yeah.
2 o'clock on a fucking Saturday
And you
today.
don't need to have seen Blade Runner to get it. Because I
Yeah,
didn't see
not at
Blade
all.
Runner,
I think it
Yeah.
helps.
and I got it.
It
but I
helps.
got it.
It helps.
You get a lot
But you
more,
don't
but
need
it's a
it.
solid movie on its own.
It is. It helps if you see the original, but you don't need
Oh,
it.
for sure.
Yeah.
I recognized her. That wasn't her. Was that really her? Or did they CGI
Sean
her
Young?
in?
That was CGI.
Because I
Sean
know
Young.
she's a batshit crazy loon.
She is.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to have
That's
sex with
why
her.
it was CGI, Sean Young.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Go.
one more thing, like the CGI Rachel.
It was great.
Yeah, that was.
But
yeah,
it- the-
and
the-
I've talked shit about
No, the
CGI
eyes-
Tarkin.
the eyes
CGI
were-
Tarkin sucked. CGI Rachel, thumbs up. For
Thumbs up. The
CGI
eyes,
Rachel
were, the eyes were a little bit off.
You know what?
Well,
That
like you
was the
said.
point.
That was the point.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah,
but
you know,
they were a little bit off.
I actually,
But I did like that they had the balls to be like, we're going to show you footage from the original movie because that's
Yeah,
what
they
that
did.
was.
They did.
It had to have
They
been.
And
did.
then
They
we're
did.
going to show you our
CGI.
CGI Rachel.
Yep.
And we're like,
That didn't look like her in the
holy
picture.
shit. And
I'm sorry.
With the baby by the tree.
That's not
That's
her.
not her.
That's the leader of the rebellion.
That's the leader of the
Which is
rebellion.
why
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling says,
Yeah.
I recognize
Right.
you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
And then he holds up the picture again.
And it's her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
It's not Rachel.
Yeah,
I kept looking. I kept
Yeah.
thinking that was her, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not Sean Young. That's not Rachel.
Because why would Rachel be holding the baby
Right.
when we know from the bones that she died giving birth?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. That's what we know.
I forgot about the whole die during birth thing.
I don't.
No, it was really good. I'm gonna have to, you got to see it a bunch of times.
I kind of.
I'm gonna say at least
Steven, to
3
your
or
point,
4.
I kind of liked CGI Kurt Russell in Guardians 2.
Oh, he was great.
A little bit
I
better
think actually,
than CGI Sean Young in
Grand
this
Moff
one.
Tarkin.
I think it was.
No, I
No,
thought he was
Steven
the
fucking
worst.
hated
I thought he
him.
was amazing.
Steven fucking hated him.
Oh, God.
No,
I was always
far
keep
off
doing
it.
I'm with Steven. I thought the way I don't think they did it very well.
Oh my God,
CGI,
that's
now
amazing.
CGI Kurt Russell in Guardians 2.
He was a
when
little
he was
too,
young.
he was a little too shiny.
But I can
No,
tell.
But he was still
but
good.
they got away with it because they put sunglasses on. He had aviators the whole
Well,
time.
he looked good. So maybe it's
I
because
think
I know.
actually,
Half the time.
I might have read
Enough of the time.
He's driving in the car, yeah.
He's not.
I think CGI Kurt Russell. I read somewhere it was actually makeup.
No.
No, it was
Plastic surgery.
no.
No,
CGI Kurt Russell in Guardians of the Galaxy was CGI on top of makeup on top of
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he was
So,
speaking
it was
lines.
a
It was his
good-
voice.
It was a good
but
blend.
that's why they did it better than I think Grand Moff Tarkin, who is dead.
Because I was all, wait a minute. Isn't
Right, exactly. So when they do Kurt Russell, they're like, "Hey, Kurt, go over there. We're gonna put some blue dots all over your face, and then we're gonna make you look younger." He's like, "I've been dying someone to say that to me for years." So I buy that a little better than Sean Young, who nobody wanted to work with, and I totally buy nobody wanted to actually give her a paycheck to physically be in
She's
this
got to
movie.
be seething. I
She's-
can't
she's in
imagine.
Yeah, but
Every-
she got paid probably
Yeah.
a
Oh,
lot.
she got paid a bunch of money
to be
to
like, okay,
not
do
be
it, yeah.
on set.
They
Yeah,
had to
so
pay her
use
for
of
her
likeness.
Nicolas Cage, when she shot Firebirds with her in 1990, hated her, and she was 11. He
When
hated
was
her.
all
He said, "I'll
nuts
never work
trying
with
to
her
be
again."
Catwoman and was showing
Yeah.
up on
Yeah.
talk shows.
Yeah.
She was in that
She-
movie
she's
with
nutty.
James Wood, and she lost her shit over that movie with the two of them
She
being together.
just
But,
loses.
yeah.
It's James Woods' fault.
But she does have the distinction of being in my favorite movie of all time, Dune.
Okay, yeah, she's in Dune.
She's in Dune.
We'll see what the next one's
she's
gonna be
on it,
like.
yeah.
But we'll see it from the same director. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we like it. We all say watch it.
No, watch it multiple times.
Watch it multiple times.
Yeah.
You will miss stuff. Yeah.
Because there's so much to
There's
unpack.
so much. So much.
This is that movie that when you get it on home video and you invite somebody over to watch it, you're going to be the asshole because you'll stop it to talk about what's going on.
You will.
I will.
When you stream it on Netflix
Oh, do
or
not.
Amazon Prime.
Do not watch it with Guy and from some Guy and John because he will be pausing it all the fucking time to talk about what's going
This
on.
2 hour
Yeah.
and 45-minute movie will become a 7-hour
If
non-stop Guy-a-thon.
if you're lucky.
And do not ask him to rewrite the movie halfway through.
No, I threw out my rewrites. That's all it needs. 2 more scenes. That's all it needs.
Road trip.
I'm gonna
You know
go.
what? Make the terrorists like Brazil.
Oh, dear God. Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I
There
do
we
like
go.
that. I do
There
like
we
that.
go.
So we got a good verdict on this one.
Yeah.
I say we're good.
Yeah.
I say we're good.
Is that the end?
I think that's the end. We're at the end.
Ciao.
Back to the cat
Back
videos.
to the cat videos.
And thank you, Artie.
Thank you, Artie, for listening to us.
Yes.
Artie, our best fan. Thank you so much for listening to us.
And
You're the man.
we're out.